A list of content warnings are provided in the video description.
Welcome, viewer. You are about to watch Martin, Nate, and Alex embark on a Trophy Dark Incursion run by GM Dan. For those of you who have yet to learn the secrets of the forest, you should know that Trophy Dark is a rules-light, dark fantasy horror RPG where you play as ill-fated treasure hunters probing ever deeper into an environment that is ancient, mysterious, and increasingly hostile to you. This is not a story about brave heroes and slain dragons. This is a story of doomed scavengers destined to end in failure, not because the cosmos have willed it, but because of their own greed and brutality. Simply put, this is a horror story of entitled pillagers accomplishing what they set out to do and earning the just reward for it. The game encourages players to push their characters to the brink and to make bold and interesting choices even at the cost of their own safety and that of their companions. Trophy Dark is played exclusively using d6s, and the primary mechanic to attempt to do something in-game is by making a risk roll. If a player has a relevant skill for the action they are attempting, they get to roll one light die. If what is being attempted is inherently dangerous, the player adds a dark die to their pool and rolls that as well. If the highest result on any die in the pool is a 6, the action is a complete success. If it is a 4 or a 5, the result is a success, but with a complication. And on a 1 to 3, the result is a failure and the GM describes how the situation gets worse for our player. But rolling gets even riskier. Because if a dark die ends up being the player's highest, and the number on that die is greater than their current ruin score, then the forest will sink its teeth even deeper into the treasure hunter and their ruin will increase by 1. When a player's ruin reaches 6, that treasure hunter is lost to the forest for good. Treasure hunters all start the game at 1 ruin, but can elect to take on an additional ruin for each ritual they select in character creation. Finally, Trophy Dark recognizes that the cruelest twists of fate are the ones that we have written for ourselves. As such, the system is intended to be highly collaborative and improvisational. The GM will at times prompt the players to describe the worst possible outcomes of failure, or to help describe the scene, so that players are able to participate in telling the story they are playing in. GM Dan will explain the rest of the rules you'll need to understand during play. So without further ado, please enjoy a warm and pleasant hum.
The human world has room for many monarchs, but the humming woods has only one queen. This six-legged mother of millions dines exclusively on an elixir said to cure any ill or even extend one's life. A royal jelly of matchless quality. Few dare attempt to steal any jelly, protected as it is by the swarms that live in her remote hive, known as the six-form heart. But what if one had greater dreams than that of a waxed sack containing purloined jelly? If one can claim the queen, one can control her enormous six-legged family and the wealth their industry represents. But the denizens of the six-form heart have a loyalty that is pheromone-fueled and absolute, and the venomous means to protect their home and monarch. So, right off the bat, maybe you guys can go through your characters, maybe just like a brief introduction. You don't have to have anything crazy fleshed out, but whatever you got, be happy to hear it. I'll just go around kind of clockwise from me. We can start with Nate.
I am playing a runaway king guard, someone who has fled my position in the royal court. That position, of course, was as what I think of a medic, someone that helps. In our land, we call them the leech. I am quite adept with all manner of blood sport, surgeries, tooth extractions, bone impactions. I'm happy to take care of any sprain, injury you might have, as long as you'll let me take a little bit of a trophy of my own from that work. I am known as Jeff.
Excellent. Wasabi.
Yeah, so I am playing Orlin, now poet, used to be a soldier, kind of a part of some sort of like warrior priest society. Usually went around doing a lot of things like burning heretical people and their works, but like many things like that, you do enough bad things or things you think are good, but probably not in necessarily the nicest way, and that starts to get imprinted upon you. There are hardly any nights that Orlin does not wake up screaming. Currently, he's hoping that wherever this next journey takes him might help him find any works of a Gino the Debauched Painter and then destroy them. Just maybe one last run in him before he truly, truly retires.
Excellent. Marin.
Well, I'm playing Fionn the Fantastic, He is a performer, a bit of a stage magician. You might catch him in the street as well. He has an interesting array of different things that he can do. He has an array of multicolored handkerchiefs, and he can do various things with those. He has a hat. He doesn't have a rabbit. Well, he did have a rabbit, but it didn't go particularly well. And he can do many things. He does have a bit of a knack for hypnotism, or at least he thinks he does. So he has a fantastic gold pendant on the end of a bit of string, and yeah. Sometimes if you don't remember what happened, check your pockets. Fionn may have been around with his golden pendant. Who knows? He's interested in going into the forest. He has his betrothed, Mildred, she's called, and he's trying to get a little something for her from the forest.
Excellent. Okay. So your group has already been traveling together. You are kind of approaching the humming woods. You're kind of at the outskirts. You're journeying in, and you've noticed that it's become quite warm to the point that your armor, your outer clothings, they're uncomfortable to wear. You begin to sweat when you have them on. You journey a bit deeper, and you hear a commotion further ahead of you in the woods, and through the trees you see movement. It looks like a small group of people are trying to wrangle some sort of out of control horse. Do you approach?
Fascinating. Look at that. It looks dead, Orlin, but it moves.
What do the people look like? How are they? Do they look strange?
Yeah,
Or do they just look like regular?
You get a little closer, you see that they look like some sort of amateur beekeepers. They have these like wide brimmed hats with kind of this roughly attached kind of mesh that kind of hangs down low over their faces. You see now that you're a little closer, there are 3 of them. As their pack horse bucks and goes wild, you see that it's also wearing this kind of crudely made mesh covering, but it's askew on its face, and kind of like half of its face is uncovered, and you see its bulging yellowed eye is leaking and has been pierced by many stingers, and you see in its eyes that it's gone completely mad. They are occupied currently with the horse. They haven't yet seen you.
You think, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but at this point, when it's already been warm, Orlin's like basically just shirtless. He has like his little dagger from his order, and he has some pants on, but the heat has just made him fully just like totally get rid of everything. And he's just like, do you think we should try and get some clothes like that? As we get closer, I would prefer to not end up like that horse there.
Yes, I was thinking we could avoid them, but yes, this robe is somewhat heavy and somewhat hot, and you're right. Yes, we could do with some protection.
Do you think they have extras, or do you think we'll have to take them?
Well, there's 3 of them, and there's 3 of us. How opportune for us.
And they're distracted right now. How good are you two to fight?
Fight? I don't fight. I'm an entertainer.
Well, do you have any good ideas, Mr. Entertainer?
Well, no, I don't think I do.
Are there any bees in this area?
There are bees, not swarms of bees, but there's bees around, yeah.
What if we take their hats and then let the bees that are here do the rest of the work?
That's not a bad idea. Hopefully,
Good.
do you think maybe underneath those masks they might be as bad as that horse? Because that horse, he also has a mask, right? So I'm assuming
He does have a mask, but
all
it's kind
ripped
of
up.
cocked
Yeah,
to
it's
one
kinda
side.
cocked.
Yes, so
Yeah.
he's exposed.
Yeah. That's not the worst idea if we can somehow get enough bees to actually get on their heads, but that might be. We might try. Maybe we can get this horse to do the job for us, if anything. I've seen a lot of men die from a good horse kick to the head.
Hmm. That's why I'm keen to avoid it.
Me too.
Are these guys close to trees? I mean, I know we're in a forest, but are they, is the nearest tree like several feet away, or are they kind of really in amongst them?
They're in a bit of a clearing, as you see. Like the trees are pretty sparse in this area. You're kind of like in that in between zone between the full forest and kind of the plains that you came from. And you see kind of beyond them, it looks like there's a quick kind of drop in the landscape. It looks like there's like a gully kind of just beyond where they're at.
I suppose we could always, I don't know, persuade them over the edge.
Would I be able to like sort of maybe get closer to the edge? Maybe just sort of see like what's like down below to just make sure it's not just all like, like a river or anything that would totally completely damage the suits if we do like somehow try and like throw them off here or push them off.
Yeah, totally. I guess I'll go, first of all, there's one more roll I forgot to mention, the ruin roll. The ruin roll is kind of like a sanity check kind of a thing in Call of Cthulhu almost. And I like to play it pretty heavy. So anytime you guys see anything even vaguely horrific, I'm going to ask for a ruin roll. So I'd say like seeing the horse in this pain, in the condition that it's in, I'll go ahead and ask for a ruin roll from all you.
That's fair. So what do we do for a ruin roll? What's the...
So if you, it's right in the dice roller.
Yeah. If you see on
I
like,
believe
you
it's
guys on the left there. I mean, you might need to click rolls if you guys don't
Yeah,
see
you
it.
need to click rolls, and all your different rolls should pop up on your left-hand side there.
Gotcha.
And if you roll... Okay.
Oh, good ruin roll, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are all good ruin rolls. You guys, nobody increased their ruin on that one, I believe.
Yeah. Nate got 2, I got a 1, and Martin got a 2.
Yeah.
What's your current ruin, Nate?
It's 2.
I
have
2.
1.
So you will increase your ruin. Your ruin goes up if it is currently less than 2. Oh, okay. Cool. So yeah, you guys are all good. And yeah, if you'd like to kind of sneak around a little bit, flank these guys, and kind of try to get over and peer over the edge there, I'll say that's a risk roll.
Yeah. Would tactics help me in this at all? In terms of like me sort of like trying to find a good path like behind the trees, maybe like on my hands and knees, and just sort of see if I can get a good vantage point.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that works perfectly for getting you a light die. I wouldn't say you're like inherently like in danger in this moment. So no,
might just
like,
ghost me.
Yeah, exactly. No dark die. You don't know how they would react or anything like that. Yeah. So no dark die right off the bat. Yeah, go ahead and make your roll.
1. Oh. I'll add a dark die and re-roll.
Okay, I was just going to say, there's a mechanic, guys, where if you fail your roll, you can add a dark die and re-roll. And you can continue re-rolling and adding dark die until one of your dark die is the highest die you rolled.
Yeah, I will go for that.
And I will say also, once someone is rolling with a dark die, other characters can help the roll at that point. The way that works is you describe how you are putting yourself at risk, and you roll 1 light die, and the player rolling the initial roll can kind of add that to their light die pool. Now, if your light die as a helper matches one of their dark die, your ruin goes up.
Yeah.
If it is less than this
is like a math problem at school.
Yeah, sometimes it is. But yeah, so that's kind of the basics of that.
So if it matches any of the dark dice of the roller, mark 1 ruin, then work with the GM to define a condition. Cool.
Yes. Which we haven't discussed conditions. We'll get into that.
Yeah. Have either of you guys want to help me, or are you gonna let me do this on my own?
Jeff does not want to help you.
That's fair. That's fair.
Beon is not going to help either at the minute.
All right, sounds good.
Oh, and I will, this is something I'm also forgetting. Usually when we do a risk roll, I'll ask everybody, okay, what do you think could go wrong here? And, sometimes it's very obvious, being seen or what have you. And that doesn't mean that's what's going to happen, just gives us some kind of ideas on where this could possibly go. And I'll also maybe ask for devil's bargains. If you're unfamiliar with the concept of a devil's bargain, if you take a devil's bargain, you can add 1 light die to your roll. Now, a devil's bargain is something that happens no matter what. So as a quick example, so you're trying to jump over some sort of chasm, and I offer you the devil's bargain. No matter what, you drop your torch into the abyss. That's a perfectly acceptable devil's bargain, but the beauty of Trophy Dark is that the players have a lot of narrative control, and you could say something more along the lines of, no matter what, on the other side of the chasm is your father, or the painter Agino, or something that could really kind of switch kind of the framing of what's happening in that. So yeah, feel free to get creative with that. And also on the other side of that, don't be afraid to suggest things that seem obvious.
Yeah, fuck me up, guys, if you want. I'm always.
Yeah, and the beauty of, going hard against somebody when you're making a devil's bargain, the beauty of that is they don't have to take it, but, it could really kind of switch things around. So, yeah, all right. You want to go ahead and do your 1 light, 1 dark roll? Do we have it? Does anybody have a devil's bargain they want to put forth right off the bat? Not to put anybody on the spot.
We want to give me a light die? All right. Oh, no. Oh no, my rune's up to 4 now because I rolled a 4 on the light die and a 4 on the dark die.
Okay, so so you make your way over to the edge of this gully. You see now that it's probably like a 45-degree angle down. It's not an insane hill there, but it goes about probably 40 feet downwards into like a kind of a narrow stream there. Yeah, that's kind of what you see.
Okay.
As you're doing this, one of the beekeepers turns and sees your form crouched along the edge of the gully, and he says, "What? Hey, who are you? Who are you? Can you help us, please?"
I'll stand up at this point and say, sure. Yeah, I'll help you, and I'll kind of look over at you guys and give you sort of like a side eye of like, I'm gonna sort of get their attention on top of this horse, and I'll start moving over towards them. I'll put my hand close to my dagger, but I'm not gonna do anything just yet. But I'll get closer to the group and the horse that's going buck wild.
Sounds good. And yeah, just as far as equipment and things like that goes, basically whatever your imagination thinks your character has is all good.
Well, Jeff, what do you think? Should we lend a hand?
Well, they asked for help, but they are also distracted.
They are.
By Orlin. Now is our chance.
How far away from the chasm are they?
I'd say within, they're kind of, spread out in a group. The horse is kind of right next to it, actually.
Okay.
It's right on the edge. And they're kind of grouped around it in almost like a semicircle kind of a thing. So they're maybe 10 to 15 feet away.
Oh, I think you're right. Now's the time. They're close enough.
I'm going to run out. I'm going to make a horrible screeching noise and taking my small round shield in front of me as a battering ram. I'm going to barrel into one of them and hopefully toss them off the edge of this cliff. As I'm doing that, I look back. Bjorn, we weren't going to be friends, were we, with them? But I'm already committed, so.
I love it. All right. Yeah, definite risk roll here. Let's see. Do you have any skills that can help you out here?
Deduction and tracking. Can I deduce the angle of impact that will be most helpful in tossing them off this cliff?
You're talking Sherlock Holmes, Robert Downey Jr. style, yeah.
Screaming and running. Yeah.
I'll buy that.
Yeah. I've got trigonometry in my head to figure out where.
I'm not going to be super stingy with the light die. I would say this is dangerous right off the bat. We'll go with a dark die right off the bat.
Right. So I've got 2 light and 1 dark. Is that where I'm at right now?
That's where you're at right now. Martin and Alex, what do you think could go wrong here?
Could potentially fully miss and just like go careening off the edge of the cliff
Yeah.
here. Just like full momentum, just not being able to be stopped and just fucking.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
I think the horse, in its slightly disturbed state, could decide that this is precisely the right moment to pick up its back hoof, and even if he doesn't manage to make it over the edge, maybe the horse can help him along.
Yeah. Okay, I really like both of those for sure. What about a devil's bargain?
I'm imagining on that shield, he's just doing like the National Lampoon Christmas thing where they skid across the road on like on the toboggan.
Every night I wax the front of this shield so
Yeah.
the blades slide off.
What about no matter what happens, one of the beekeepers gets away.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That would leave us with one less face mask. But Orland's already half naked, so I don't worry about that so much. So, I'll take
Also
that
the horse
devil's
mask.
bargain.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's a horse mask.
You take that one? Okay, great.
Yeah, I'll take that devil's bargain.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and add another.
The other
light
two
die.
weren't devil's bargains, right? Those were just
Those are
hopes
just
and dreams
possible,
that are gonna
possible
happen.
hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
Hopes and
Because
dreams.
this means
Wishes.
this guy will definitely get away.
Yes, well, not necessarily this guy, but one of
But
them.
one of them will get away.
one of them.
Yep,
So a devil's bargain is a light or a dark die?
it is a light die.
A light die.
So
So
it
I'm
won't.
rolling
It won't.
3 light.
One light. Two. I'm sorry. 2 light. One for the devil's bargain. One for your skill. You only get one possible
got it.
maximum of one for a skill related to it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not a default.
Cool.
Oh, you're doing something, so you get 1 light die.
No,
And then you
it's
add to it,
possible.
you're trying to-
It's possible you have no skill involved with it, so you do, and you have to be like, all right, I'll take a dark die.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Cool.
I've
Awesome.
rolled a 3, a 4, and a 2 on my dark die.
Okay.
Nice.
So you got a 4 is a partial success. You could add another dark die and re-roll. You could do that and get help from anybody as well. That's a possibility. You could take the partial success. Partial success is you do what you were trying to do, but there's a consequence of some sort.
Yeah, I'll help. I'll try and like if I see you charging the guy, I'm gonna try and crack him like right in the side of the knee, just to make him buckle to open up a little bit for you to like slam into him if you do want to do a
Okay.
reroll.
Okay, that sounds good to me. So then I just re-roll the exact same thing.
And I roll.
You
a die.
add 1 dark die to
Okay.
re-roll it, and he's gonna roll a light die to also add to your pool.
Okay, so I'm going to roll 2 light, 2 dark.
Excellent.
2 6s, a 2, and a 3.
Oh my god, nice! I just rolled a 5 for mine. That doesn't
Nice.
tell me your dark dice. 2 6s, nice.
Excellent. Yeah, and there aren't crits in the game, but that's like some sort of crit.
There's
Some sort of crit.
2 of these beekeepers, and there's 2 crits. I'm just
Yeah,
doing the
so I
math.
think, okay, I like that. I think that's excellent. Why don't you describe to me to all of us how you take 2 of these beekeepers out as the other one kind of sees this and just starts booking back towards the direction you guys had come from.
So I see Orlin sneak his. Is it your dagger, or you got a sword? Your
I got a dagger. Yeah.
Sneak his dagger out and thwap the side of the knee of one of these beekeepers. So I make a micro adjustment. I see the beekeeper go down a little bit to spin around in a circle and hit the other beekeeper that I wasn't going for with the shield as I slam it out. And then I use that rebound to scoop it out as an undercut, and it just like a bowling ball, bam! And they both go off and over and tumble. And
Excellent.
as I fall forward with the momentum, my hand goes out for a high five from Orlin.
Yes. And as you do that, the horse kicks you. No. Oh, excellent. Awesome. And I'm gonna slightly change what I just said. This other beekeeper runs deeper into the humming woods. And he's quickly lost from sight. And you hear kind of the receding sounds of him crashing through the brush out beyond you.
What's the horse doing?
the horse is kind of, as this all happened, the horse continues to buck, and one of its hoofs kind of slips off the side of the slope of the gully, and it tumbles down.
Can I try and grab its face mask off of it
Ooh.
while it's tumbling down? I'm gonna try and like grab it by the head and like pull off its mask since
Okay.
we lost the third mask already.
Yeah. Jeez, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna say you can just do this.
Yeah, no dark die.
Yeah.
You're being nice.
Well, yeah, I guess that is, maybe that is a little too nice. Yeah, okay, go ahead. Do you have anything that might help you with that?
I got passion. I could say that, I don't know, maybe I have persuasion. Maybe I'm trying, like, as it's falling, I'm like, oh no, don't worry, buddy, I got you, and then I just go for his head and rip it off. Try to calm him, try to like distract him a little bit, and then tear it off his face.
I'm gonna say it's happening a little too quickly for that, I think.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, I think there's going to be some danger involved. I think the danger maybe being in that it like pulls you over the edge, possibly. If anybody else has thoughts on what could go wrong here,
bites me on the forearm, drags me down with it.
Yeah, turns around and kicks you potentially, something like that. Yeah.
I think you could succeed, but the thing is still strapped around the horse's neck, so either it rips in two, or as you're dragged over and tumble down this ravine with the horse and slide through all of the bramble, you're just tore up and destroyed. Right. So yeah. I mean, I see two possible.
I like both of those a lot. Yeah. Either it's kind of still attached potentially.
You also said it has like a fucked up face, right? What if there's like almost like a beehive part of its face that I might like really disrupt? If it's like if I like trying to grab it and like hit it and like all these bees come out and start stinging me.
I'm gonna propose a devil's bargain on that. Yeah. I'm gonna say no matter what, this horse is a hive.
I'll take that. I'll take that devil's bargain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's 2 light.
And 1 dark.
One dark. Yeah, and 1 dark. Did I give you a light? I didn't give you a light. So 1 light, 1 dark.
1 light, yeah. That's what I thought,
yeah. Yeah, 1 light, 1 dark.
Oh no, my rune's already 5. Oh wait, no, it's not. Sorry, it's not higher than my rune. Never mind. I'm wrong.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We're good.
I was gonna say we haven't even gotten into the forest yet.
I know, we're good. I misread. I got a 2 my light die and a 2 in the dark die.
Awesome. Well, what do you want to do? That's a failure.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
I
do
feel
you like to try to re-roll, or
can I re-roll? Because I thought if it's a dark die,
it's actually
it
tied. Yeah, it tied your light die. Okay, no, you can't re-roll.
Yeah, no, I feel like it just chomps down, like hives get all over me or something. I feel like something crazy is bad.
You go to grab this face mask off the horse as it's kind of in the process of kind of tumbling over the edge, and as the face mask, it rips off. Part of the horse's face kind of comes off with it, and it's that kind of that beehive material. You know what I mean? That papery material. Yeah, and it kind of pulls away, and you see kind of the cross section of the hive across its face, and just this swarm of bees comes out, and they begin attacking you. And you getting stung repeatedly by bees.
Oh, and I'm not wearing a shirt either, too. So I just feel I'm just gonna be a big puffy like marshmallow man now.
I'm gonna come to his aid and just start slapping him upside his body and face with my shield. I don't want this terrible thing to happen. I want to help.
Absolutely. I think. Yeah, I mean, I think the risk here would be kind of the bees turning on you, but this could work. I think, easily this could work, kind of fanning them away and trying to get away at the same time, sort of a thing, you know what I mean? So, yeah, any skills that could help you here?
Oh, this seems like an obvious surgery skill.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
Ooh, that might come up after this.
Oh, yeah. I'm happy to
Uh,
take my condition of just being stung to fuck.
Yeah, I think that would kind of be what would happen. Yeah, you'd probably get a condition for this,
Yeah.
and yeah, it would be. I would say, yeah, stung, and that could evolve into something beyond that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, stung to fuck is fine.
Yeah,
Now,
I'll have our stung to fuck.
just
Just like
as far
across
as
my chest and everything. Like I have like all these old like battle scars, and they're all like being like stretched out by like all like the puffiness and everything happening from this. So,
I
yeah,
like that. You're all
yeah.
you're all lumpy and
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah, this game for me anyway has leaned hard into like body horror type stuff with the conditions. Now, just to explain what conditions are, if you get hurt or something happens, you can gain a condition. You can gain a condition as a result of a devil's bargain. Also, if your ruin goes up, you gain a condition. The conditions can be something like getting stung by bees. A lot of them lean into this whatever you're turning into a bee, that sort of stuff, just to give a generic example. And kind of as your ruin progress, these things can evolve in however you might see fit. We'll kind of work it out as we go, that sort of thing. So yeah, I love you being all lumpy and stung to fuck. That sounds great. Now you do notice that the beekeeper that fled actually dropped his pack on the ground. You see it laying not too far off.
I'm going to say that while this commotion's going on, Fionn is going to do the honourable thing, ignore his companion's plight, and probably try and plunder the backpack.
That's how you play Trophy Dark, Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in the right. You kind of begin going through this pack here. And the first thing you pull out is a vial of this kind of thick yellowish liquid, and you see that the vial has a thin crack kind of running down the bottom, and this yellow liquid has mostly kind of seeped out. You realize that it's anti-venom. There's a precious few drops left. You also find within the pack a crude map of the Humming Woods. And you see there's 3 large circles on the map indicating possible places where these people believed the queen could be. The 6th form heart, as her hive is called. And you also see that there's some notes kind of scribbled on it about different scouting paths the bees take, and areas of like high concentration of bees. And on the back of it, there's a sketch drawn out. You look at it; it's a sketch of a bee with what appears to be like a large, like a hunting collar around its neck. And as you dig further, you find a stinger the size of a human hand.
Fionn will take all of these things, and he's going to take special care of the anti-venom. And yeah, I don't think he's got anything he could usefully put that in, so I think he's just going to maybe wrap the vial up and orientate it in a way that means that it's not going to drip any more out of the crack in the vial.
So, if I got this right, Fionn is rummaging through this pack on the ground, taking careful inventory of what he's finding, while Orlin is screaming in pain.
Yeah.
I'm waving a shield trying to get the bees away, but it doesn't work. They keep just attacking.
Oh yeah. At this
him.
point,
That's-
you've
This
hit
is
the
all happening in the
shield.
background
Like
of you.
I'm falling down the ravine with all these bees all over me. Like I'm just trying to get them off of me at this point, just like rolling on the ground. I am screaming horribly in pain.
Yeah. And Fionn is, oh, this is interesting. I wonder if I can put a rag around this. And okay, I just want to make sure I
But yeah,
understand.
in the background.
Fionn will see this slightly differently. So he was going to approach these people with Jeff in a nice kind of calm way, and all of a sudden Jeff just shot off and left him for dead. So yeah, he doesn't know what's going on over there. But yeah, Fionn will light a torch. And he's going to do it in such a way, maybe sprinkling some water on it so it starts to create smoke.
Excellent. Yep. Heard that.
And he'll wander over. He's not going to look particularly rushed or hurried. And this isn't going very well, is it? And he's gonna start waving the torch around to try and disperse some of this smoke across a wider area to clear any bees off.
I love it, and yeah, as you start spreading the smoke around, it works like a charm. They're normal bees for all intents and purposes, and they begin to disperse and kind of lose interest. They become kind of lethargic and docile.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Yes, you should be a little more careful.
Yeah. Oh, that hurts.
Well, there's this, and he takes this here. It might help.
What is it? No, I'll just take it from you.
I don't know. Try and dab some of it on. See if it works.
Okay. Yeah, I just
Don't
open
use
this
all of it.
strange vial and I just pour it like into my hands and start just like rubbing it onto my sting, hoping to see if I can, I do it like really gingerly. Like at first I sort of push it in, I'm like, ooh, and then I just sort of get it all across where I can.
Yeah, and there's not much left, but in the places you put it, you do notice that there's an immediate lessening of pain, and the stiffness of the swelling kind of begins to go down. You can immediately tell there's a reaction.
Perfect. Now I'm only stung mostly to fuck. Perfect.
Fascinating. I'm going to bend down. I'm going to take a finger and try and dab it into some of this oil and sniff it and taste it. get my scalpel out. And Orlin, do you mind? And I just want to take a look at one of these blisters. And this is fascinating. And here,
if it'll help
hold
us.
still. Sure. And I want to puncture one of these blisters and see what comes out.
Yeah, you pierce it, and this kind of yellow, like a thick pus, kind of comes out of it as you pierce it.
Orlin, do you feel that?
Yeah, I feel it. Your knife's in me.
How about this other one? And I'll pierce another one. Does that also? It hurts the same.
Yes, stop.
This is taking effect so rapidly. You've just been stung. This is. Oh. Hey, Fionn, did you see the face when Orlin ripped the hat off of that horse? That's the real term of it, as a horse hat.
Mm-hmm.
It was turning into a beehive.
What?
And then I looked meaningfully at Orlin's torso and just...
I didn't see that, no. Are you suggesting that he might be infected?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's a goner. Unless we find more of this anti-venom.
I'm
Well,
taking one of these suits. I just yell to you guys. You guys are talking away from me. I'm just like ripping off one of these guys' like suits and hats and started putting it on while you guys are talking.
Were there any packs on the horse?
There were some packs on the horse. It seemed to be their supply animal.
Maybe we should check the horse out. There could be more of this stuff there, or maybe the others have got backpacks as well.
Works for me. Let's go. I think that horse sounds pretty promising. They seem to really want it back. So.
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense. Has anyone got a rope?
Yeah, I got one.
Right. Well, we could tie off at the top of the slope here. You could climb down and see if you can find anything.
Me? How about one of you? Here, I'll give you my rope, but I think what you guys should do it. I mean, actually, how about you, Fionn? It's your idea.
I was going to stand here with this torch and make sure they don't come back.
Well, Fionn, I'll use my skill in triangles to help you with your climbing down.
You have a skill in triangles?
Yes, I've studied trigonometry at the King's Court.
Trigonometry?
Trigonometry.
Trigonometry. I've got some... These multicolored handkerchiefs are triangles. Would your trigonometry...
Look at this. And I fold a couple into different shapes, different triangle shapes. Look at this. This triangle here versus this triangle here you can see that they're different. That's the first lesson, Fion.
But still triangles.
They're both triangles.
Where did you learn such wisdom?
It's almost magic.
You'll have to show me one day.
I'd be happy to. I could show you right now with a rope around the branch of this tree over here. And you'll see how where I'm holding it safely up top and how it descends down the ravine with you at the bottom forms another triangle.
Another triangle. It's a conspiracy, I tell you.
I used to burn heretics
Conspiracy
like
of
you,
triangles.
Jeff. But that is pretty cool.
Well, okay, I'm sold, says Fionn. Fionn actually doesn't care about the triangles, but he is aware that there are 2 masks, a horse mask, and potentially a backpack full of really valuable anti-venom down there. And he figures if he gets there first, he's probably in a better place.
Excellent, excellent. So it's not an especially dangerous slope, as you've been debating about this. I do have a question for you all. Out of the 3 of you, which one of your characters do you think is kind of the guide or leading the way?
I feel like Jeff has tracking, so probably Jeff. That would probably make the most sense.
You are in Jeff's capable hands.
Jeff, you actually believe that in order to traverse into the heart of the Humming Woods, that you'll all need to navigate down to the bottom of this gully and kind of continue on. You've had the area described to you, and you should come into a vast floodplain area kind of just beyond this gully, kind of dipping into this low land you think might be the beginnings of that.
Orlin, Fion, I have a different idea, and I stroll down this hill.
Yeah, I'll follow you.
Yeah.
Excellent. That'll conclude ring 1.
Woo!
Yeah. And we'll get right into ring 2. As you kind of move down this gully, the trees around you have kind of remained sparse, and they even clear out further as you journey a little deeper. And you see the land before you kind of opens up into this vast floodplain. And the area is a riot of colors. There's all these flowering plants that have kind of taken advantage of this recent precipitation here. And you see they've kind of grown up out of the water. A myriad of colors kind of stretches before you. And the average height of these plants is 6-7 feet, kind of just above head height, sort of a thing. And below their roots are this tangled, treacherous mass at your feet that's kind of partially submerged by water. The water varies from, like ankle deep to as high as knee or even thigh height in certain spots. And it's kind of hard to see the roots at your feet. So going is tough, pretty slow, and you're in danger of kind of losing one another. Within this floodplain with all these different flowering plants. And there's a strong perfumed scent here from all the flowers. And as you walk through, you're noticing that your clothing and arms and face is picking up all this pollen as you journey through. And there's bees here kind of buzzing around. Some land on you or taking pollen. Nothing too threatening. Now, I'm going to ask kind of some questions about your characters a little bit here. I'll ask each of you kind of the same ones. I'll start with you, Martin. Why is it that Fion is here? Is he seeking the cure-all offered by the royal jelly, or is he interested in the power available if you took control of the queen and were able to kind of take this honey empire for yourself?
Well, I don't think he'd be particularly interested in the power. I don't think he'd really understand how to take advantage of it and make good use of it. So I'm going to say that I think that Mildred has been nagging him for 2 years, and won't actually marry him, and unless he can get some of this jelly back for Mildred, which is probably a good thing because I think she's probably in need of it.
Okay, I like that. I like that Mildred is ill in some way.
Well, Mildred wants to look more beautiful. She's hoping that it'll improve her look. She wants to become
Oh,
the best looking bride in the village.
okay, interesting. I like that. Okay, cool,
And
cool,
if he
cool.
brings it back, she'll finally set a date.
How how is Fion going to succeed where others have failed?
Fionn is I might be giving too much away, but Fionn is very good at taking advantage of the situation, leveraging the skills of those around him, shall we say. And
I
he
like it.
thinks the two with him are probably quite capable, even if he might be lacking a little.
So he's a manipulator.
I'd just go for a thief and a bit of a trickster, but yeah, manipulator sounds better.
Cool, cool. Yeah, Alex, are you looking for the cure? Or are you looking for the power?
Yeah, Orlin's looking to actually destroy the royal jelly, and not
Oh,
let any of it get out, because he believes it's one of the main ingredients of Agino the painter's arts and paintings and that sort of thing. He's not 100% sure, but he's like fairly sure that at the worst, it might lead him to some more answers as to what to do with stopping this guy.
I like that. Yeah, maybe Gino uses it in like his inks or
Yeah,
something like
exactly.
that. It
Like
has
part of like the base
some.
or the medium of like his things, the whatever, and whatever horrors those sort of wreak on people who see them or they come to life, whatever, they all maybe act differently from each other, but it definitely
I
has some
love
sort of
it.
power.
I love it. How will you succeed where others have failed?
The one thing sort of that he kind of got forcefully retired from his order, when one of the last things he did was actually sort of maybe go a little bit too far on a heretic when torturing or murdering him or whatever they were doing. Some pretty horrible stuff I won't go into details on. But by doing that, he was able to gain some of the power from that heretic, which caused him to be able to learn some rituals and some magic that his order does not allow you to know. But he's hoping that
Ah,
that will be sort of like the lesser evil that he had to do for the greater good.
I love it. Awesome. And yeah, Jeff, are you looking for the cure or the power of the queen?
I'm, of course, looking for the cure, the
Mm-hmm.
jelly. I am on a quest. I must bring this jelly back to a great and powerful artisan in town, Sarah. Sarah has a artifact that I need that will indeed prove the true nature of the king that I fled from, King Dave. And that artifact she will only relinquish to me if I bring her this jelly, which will cure her of her deadly disease, the flu.
Understood. I like it. Is Dave an evil king?
He is incredibly evil. He's undead, but he's hidden his nature successfully. And I seek to show that nature, which over the years, as the king's doctor and the king's guard, his undead nature was very puzzling and curious to me. It stymied all of my normal cures and attempts to do normal medical procedures. The, the widening of the toenails and the letting of the femoral blood. None of those things resulted in the positive effects that normally happen. And over time, I finally grew suspicious, and I know in my heart exactly what's wrong with King Dave, the evil undead King Dave. And when I return this jelly to Sarah, I will finally be proven right.
I love it. How will Jeff succeed where others have failed?
The undead evil King Dave is overly confident in his ruse. He's been able to sit in his throne and keep power for generations. refreshing his look and refreshing degenerate. At this point, and based on the way that Jeff left court in disgrace and embarrassment, I plan to sneak back into court on an open day, the artifact in hand, and throw my robes off and hold it aloft as the noonday sun does enter into the glass temple of the court, shining. And once it strikes him, I'm pretty sure he'll burst into flame. And I'm hoping that once he starts to burst into flame, turn into a skeleton, shrieking, and then falling into dust, people will finally understand and believe my story. That's my plan.
Phew. All right. Fucking excellent. Excellent. Good plan. Now, as you all make your way through this flood plain, you begin to drift apart. And why don't you all just roll a d6 real quick? There's a generic roll down at the bottom.
Oh no, Nate, you and your sixes. So Nate got 6, I got 2, and Martin got 2.
Got 2 as well.
Okay.
What does it mean?
Jeff, you have become separated from your companions. And as you pushing your way through the tall plants, there's a picture plant that has kind of filled with rainwater, and as you push it to the side, the head of it tips forward and drenches you in a sticky, sweet tasting liquid, kind of from the kind of the waist down. You're completely drenched. And as you kind of recover from this drenching, you don't realize it, but you drop something into the water. What important piece of supplies or what item, something that's important to Jeff, what did you lose? Or what is rendered useless by dropping it into the water?
I've only introduced one item, and it feels right to use the introduced item in this, and so... Oh, damnation! Fionn, is that you? And as I realize I'm just soaked, I set my shield down off my back, and I'm looking and brushing myself off, and it's sticky, and I'm going to pick up my pack and walk on and leave that shield behind.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
I don't like it. But I
don't. I'll ask Fionn, as you move through the tall stalks of flowers, what creature do you see that moves among the stalks effortlessly while you all kind of flounder through this area?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I'm going to have to say a bird with sort of rainbow feathers on its wings. Each one is each feather that's sort of proud of the wing on the edges is a different color. Fionn is strangely entranced by it. Strange little thing.
Is it a small bird?
Yeah, it's a small bird.
And you see it kind of lightly landing from flower to flower, and it almost seems as though it puts no weight on these things as it kind of flits back and forth. You all kind of find your way back to one another, and you hear the loud kind of crunching of stalks out ahead of you in the floodplain. And suddenly, pushing through the stalks, you see this enormous moose, larger than normal, and probably 10 to 12 feet at the shoulders.
Oh my God.
It has this enormous antlers, and you see that its antlers are kind of dripping and encrusted with honey and bits of honeycomb kind of stuck to it, and there's bees kind of flying all around its antlers and kind of going in and out of the honeycombs, and it wanders through unafraid of these bees. And you see that its snout is kind of dripping honey. It looks as though it's nuzzled through some large hive. What folk knowledge or what legends or lore have you three heard about such a creature? They can be good or bad. Anybody who would like to jump in, feel free.
Fiona's heard that the moose makes tasty eating, but rumor has it only one has ever been caught. The meat was absolutely divine.
I heard that there is a cult that sort of venerates and loves these moose, and I've also heard that if you see one of these moose, there's a chance that the cult is not too far away from it.
I've heard that if you follow the trail of the smell of this moose backwards, you will always arrive at a witch's house.
And the moose takes no notice of you. It's completely unconcerned, and it just kind of slowly continues walking through the floodplain with ease. And you see where it's tread, you see that there's kind of a golden layer that floats in the water where it's walked, and you see kind of down below that, beneath the water, you can see that like its prints have this rind around them, and it looks to be, as you look at it more closely, it looks to be the chitinous bodies of crushed bees that it kind of is leaving in its footprints. And as you kind of approach the edge of the floodplain now, the thoughts of seeing this moose and seeing its trail, you believe that it has potentially come from the sixth form heart. And it gives you a feeling that this journey is possible. It can be done. It fills you with a small bit of hope that you're on the right trail. Moments later, as the water is become much, much shallower and dry land has begun to appear in little patches as you're moving forward, you see the swollen, kind of dank, damp, like half-rotted body of a former adventurer. Their clothing is mostly in tatters, but you see the haggard remains of a mesh beekeeper hat that they were wearing, and their hands clutch a brazier. And you see as though you see that where their hands grip it, it's almost become fused to this metal brazier. Their hands have kind of become melted almost to it. And I'll have everybody give me a ruin roll.
As a Canadian, that moose seems the scariest scene in an RPG I've ever been in.
Yeah.
Dude, moose are crazy.
Oh, no.
A bigger than average moose is horrifying. So Martin got a 1, I got a 6,
Yep.
and Jeff got Nate got a 5. Yeah.
Okay, so Alex, your rune's gonna go up, I believe, to 5 now, right?
Yep.
And Jeff, where is Jeff at? His rune is also going up?
It's going up. Did my ruin go up from that fight that we had? I don't remember if it did.
I don't think so.
No? Okay, then I'm just at 3.
So.
It's
Okay.
just so weird to not have ruin go up when you have a fight that I thought it was
yeah, no,
impossible,
you got a critical. Yeah, well, you got
Yeah.
you got 2 6s. Okay, excellent. So Alex, you are now at 5, which of course gives you the ability to make reduction rolls. So you
Hell
can
yeah.
think about how you might want to do that.
I already got an idea.
And I'm gonna give you a condition for Jeff there, Nate. I think begin to crave sugar. And Alex,
I do actually have an idea for a condition that I think might be cool.
there you go.
I was
Please.
thinking, for all like the stinging parts that there wasn't enough antivenom for, the sort of bumps and stinging has gone down and sort of been replaced by like fleshy hexagons now weeping that same pus that Jeff sort of stabbed out of me. So it just started to have like an actual like honeycomb kind of gross shell and all this like pus coming off of me. It's just like sticking to my beekeeper outfit, being really uncomfortable and sweaty and just being pretty horrible to be in. I think I might take my beekeeper suit back off just because it's become
It's
a
horrible to
little bit
be
too
in.
much again.
It's become uncomfortable.
You don't want to be in your
No, I don't want to
outfit
be in it
anymore.
anymore, Jeff.
Yeah.
So then we can see this honeycomb.
Yeah,
Little
yeah. I take
pattern
it off, and you
that's
see sort of
showing
like
up.
basically like the honeycomb sort of pattern like across my chest, like the parts
Orlin.
that there weren't enough antivenom for. Yeah.
Orlin, it begins. It begins. Can I?
Uh,
Hold still.
I
Hold
would
still.
really
And
prefer if you didn't.
poke.
Ah! It's
And honey comes out.
I'd say like sort of like a honey pus blood kind of mixture kind of comes out.
Yeah, like a bodily fluid,
Yeah.
honey,
Sort of like
Because
an
I crave
orangey,
sugar.
creamy kind of viscous liquid dripping down my chest.
It could be honey though. These are honeycomb. We saw the horse, and it's for science. And I'm going to dab, and I'm going to. Is it sweet?
It's
Does it taste
incredibly
sweet?
sweet.
Yeah.
You find it to be delicious.
Sweet and savory.
It's got
Orlin,
everything.
hold still. Poke.
Ah!
Just gonna. We must study this. We must study this at length.
Will you leave him alone?
It's Fion. You should. It's delicious. You should try this.
Fionn looks up. No, I'm fine.
I look down at one of the moose tracks and at that wave of that layer of honey that's also riding, and I'm gonna go taste that as well. Oh, is this it's honey as well?
It is.
This is sweet as well.
Well,
I have
well. Jeff.
I'm filling a flask. Yes, Fion.
Yes, look. You're, stop wasting your time. If we follow these footprints back, and this thing really did come from the sixth form hive, then imagine the sweetness, pure, unbridled, almost fragrant sweetness, the likes of which I'm sure this muddy footprint would easily exceed. I think. Quick, lead the way. Greater
Fion,
sweetness
what
is.
What about the witch, Fion? If we follow this
What
back,
about the witch?
this will lead us right back to the witch. Our
I
doom is assured if we.
No. Witch, it's they're confused with the queen. It's clearly the queen, not a witch.
Witch queen, maybe?
What would a witch be doing with a queen?
Exactly. What would a witch be doing? Are you trying to say, Fion, that folk tales might become a little bit confused over time and their original meanings? No.
You complete
Witch,
rubbish.
if we go back.
I think what Fion's saying is that there might be a lot more of whatever's coming out of me further in the forest, and maybe you could
And
stop
sweeter and
poking
better.
me and get the mother
okay.
load. Is what I think. I think he's trying to say that.
I finish filling up my flask. I get a little bit of a dip from Orlin, but I finish filling up from the moose track honey, and then away I go, following these tracks back.
Excellent. Now, I did forget to mention one item that all of your treasure hunters possess that you've carried in with you is a wax-covered canvas sack in which you hope to store the royal jelly. I'll just put that out there. Now, as Jeff begins to follow these tracks deeper into the humming woods, the trees become more crowded the closer you get to the heart. Bee sightings are becoming more frequent. You see the smaller scouting variety up to these wingless soldiers that are as large as hounds. They're patrolling around, For the most part, they don't seem to bother you, but you see that their mandibles are capable of taking an arm off at will. As you lead the way, Jeff, one of these bees approaches you and begins to almost sniff at you. Its antennae and its mandibles coming close to you. How is Jeff willing to debase himself when this guard kind of flicks your way?
Well, these trousers are already completely ruined with pitcher honey, so I'll take them off and squeeze the pitcher honey into my hand and offer it up to that bee soldier in supplication.
As you hold your hand up, and the bee kind of takes this nectar from your palm. What are you visualizing in that moment to try and remain calm as these monstrous mandibles are kind of carefully plucking pollen from you and slurping up this liquid?
I'm remembering my final exam in Leech School, Leech University, where all of the young, hopeful leeches line up in front of the leech master. And part of the program that we've learned is we all have to, on our hands and knees, follow our specific blood trail. And you pass if you do not get distracted by anyone else's blood trail. Because part of the training, of course, is the identification, the classification, and the identification of blood sources and different blood flavors, viscosities, and textures.
Of course.
And
Different
so
blood
as
flavors.
of course, everyone knows this, so I get down on hands and knees, and as I'm trying to steady myself, I think about that moment and remember how if I can get through that with the leech masters slapping all of our bare backs with the straps, the leather straps, trying to distract us, and the horn blowers in the hall trying to disrupt our concentration. If I can get through that, I can get through this. This is a constant recurring mantra and meditation of mine. And possibly all leeches that have gone through and completed the Leech Master curriculum at the local Leech Community College.
Excellent. And this hound-like bee picks you over and kind of moves on from you, and it moves on down the line and approaches Orlin next. How does Orlin react?
I immediately get on my knees and I show my sort of like honeycomb kind of body as I'm becoming more with this forest. And I kind of just try and show it that I'm almost like one of it. I have like all the pollen all over me still. I am mostly just trying to get to almost like smell me like a cat and try and get used to me, making very, very very slow kind of movements. And after I feel like it's kind of used to me a bit, I'll just try and put my hand out to pet's head just like ever so slightly, stopping if it seems to growl or get any kind of aggressive with me. I just like make sure I show like respect and just try to get to sort of like, I don't know, be friendly towards me.
And it kind of, as you expose your honey chest to it, it kind of cleans up your chest area of whatever's kind of right there on the surface. And it allows you the briefest of kind of touches as it then moves on to Fion.
So as Fion is the last in the chain here, Fion has been trying to prepare for this when he's seen his companions be worked over by this thing. So I think he's going to have taken his chain of multicolored handkerchiefs and basically trying to soak them in honey in one of these footprints, and he's just gonna kind of not kneel because he'd like to run away if he needs to quickly, just bring up this string of handkerchiefs and sort of float and dance the thing around in a sort of hypnotic, entrancing pattern, and kind of offer it with its honey and whatever else was in the footprint.
Yeah, and the bee actually takes your string of multicolored handkerchiefs right from you,
Mm.
and it kind of wads it up in its mandibles, and kind of is chewing it up, and then kind of proceeds, kind of turns around and proceeds kind of in the direction of the moose track trail, and kind of hurries off in that direction with your handkerchiefs.
While Fionn is distracted with this bee,
You really
I'm going
took
to
the thought right out of my mind, dude.
I am going to, as subtly as I can, if I also notice that the leech is also kind of distracted looking at the hound and everything, I'm going to try and cast the ash spell to burn Fionn's bag to nothing so that everything in it falls out.
Wow. Wow. Okay, that's excellent. I love it. Now, I will say rituals are inherently dangerous.
Yeah.
So I think I will kind of, because it's such a small scale, I'll say, yeah, this totally works as a reduction roll.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Where are you going to bring your royal jelly back with? So is a reduction roll just a light die and a dark die, or is it just a light die?
It's just a light die. Yep.
Okay, I got a 1.
Okay. That is less than your current rune.
Yes.
So yeah, your betrayal goes unnoticed, but Fionn, after this soldier bee passes you over, you look to your canvas bag and you find nothing but a ashy smudge on your belt where it once was.
Well, big jaws, and the hell else can it do?
Yeah. I think I saw that bee hound eat your bag.
Maybe it was some sort of fluid from its mouth, some
Yeah.
acidic. We should, yes.
Oh,
be
geez, yeah.
careful,
And I'm
bee.
like, as you say, I start like wiping out my chest. Like, oh, I don't want. Maybe it'll dissolve me. And I'll just sort of move away and just like, I guess we should keep moving. We don't want that to come back to us.
Oh, close call, close call.
Yeah.
Fionn will, if he sees that his bag is gone, will pick up a few of these things that are scattered on the floor and put them about himself. Maybe stuff one in his belt. Yeah, he's got a torch in the back, an unlit torch in the back of his belt.
I like it. Now, as you all kind of begin to move on from this encounter, you notice that bees have begun to collect around the head of Orlin. They're kind of buzzing in this almost like an undulating halo around his head. And your two companions, Orlin, I wonder what this could be. What is this? Why has he been chosen by the bees? What is it about him? Is he? This isn't necessarily a question you need to answer, but it's an odd thing.
Perhaps maybe I'm fated to find this queen. Maybe this is some kind of messenger from her to let us know that, maybe we're welcome.
Yes. We should follow you as if you have, as if you're leading us to the hive.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm sure
I'll go
this is-
alongside Jeff there and help now that I have these.
Well, not too
these
close.
bees.
Not too close. Oh. I'm sure it's a positive sign these bees have decided to swirl around your head.
Oh, they're not attacking, are they?
No.
No. I think it's a blessing.
I like to think so as well. I try to
Wanna
think
take
on
a
the positive side.
Careful look at where all this honeycomb-shaped scarring is, and I want to see if the bees are interested in those areas.
There are definitely, yeah, absolutely. There's bees, and you even see like some of the bees crawling into the honeycombs.
Yes, Orlin, I think they've decided you might be worthy of meeting the queen. You should lead, but lead quickly. I think you need to lead in a hurry.
Yeah, I agree with you. Let's go. I sort of look at the tracks like back this way. Let's go. I think we should follow where that moose came from, right?
I point off in the direction that I was going and follow Orlin.
You follow the moose tracks deeper into the humming woods, and kind of a little ways off the path you're following, you see this large, almost like a cross between an armadillo and a rhinoceros that's kind of moving through the undergrowth, and it's got its face in a beehive. And there's all these bees, larger bees, maybe, the size of like a fist, that are kind of buzzing at it. But you see that they can't pierce its armored hide. And as a few moments go by, more and more bees begin to accumulate and land on this strange armored animal. And eventually its entire surface of its body are covered in these fist-sized bees, and you see them humming and buzzing and vibrating. And you witness as this armored creature is cooked alive within its own shell.
I sort of look at the bees around me nervously, just getting real cozy. So I do a rune roll?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Hey, I got a 1.
You lucky
Nice,
bastard.
nice. You are rolling nice.
Yeah, I got a 4, which is the same as mine, so I'm good. And
so it looks like you're all good, I believe, right?
Nope, I went up. I went up from
go
3 to 4.
Jeff also has 4.
I do know.
Also, one thing with the reduction roll, now that I've hit 5, I can keep doing fucked up shit with my friends, right?
Yeah, you almost you unlock that ability kind of thing. So you can reduce it down to whatever your starting ruin was. Yep.
Sweet.
So your goal is to get to 5 as soon as possible, so you can be mean.
Yeah, for you, Nate.
I get this game now. Yeah, pretty much nailed it, actually. So you kind of witness this horrific event. You are craving sugar. Now, at this point, it's a question of, do we want a new condition? Do we want to kind of evolve your current craving of sugar to a next level? Do you have any thoughts at all about, what a new condition might be for Jeff?
Well, I'm looking at some medium rare rhino-dillo that was just barbecued in front of us and thinking a nice honey glaze on that is gonna satisfy. So, Fiona, Orlin, are you by chance peckish? I think we could maybe get some lunch, and I'm gonna wade in to this rhino-dillo and pull it back and start trying to pull off and cut off some steaks.
Okay, and a lot of the bees have kind of fled now that the thing is dead, but there's a few that are actually feasting on it. These bees appear to be carnivorous.
Armadillo meat, isn't armadillos? Don't they usually have like chlamydia or something, or what do they have? Don't they have some horrible disease that you really don't want to touch them?
That's what Jeff is hoping for.
Yeah, it adds a little spice to it. Really gives that smoky flavor.
It's my last job because of the chlamydia, syphilis, and gonorrhea that is racking my body.
Yeah.
It's really an epidemic. I think there's some risk involved in this. Potentially them, getting angry that you're pulling their meal away from them.
Yeah, I was going to say, so according to Wikipedia, and I think this actually plays out really well, the disease is leprosy.
Leprosy, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Not chlamydia. I think, isn't chlamydia koalas?
Really?
Yeah. I mean, leprosy is a great condition.
Isn't it?
That is a good condition. I almost want to not even make you roll and just say you get leprosy when you do this. I think
in addition,
that was part of the condition.
Chlamydia.
I think that's the condition. Yes.
Yeah. So I've got it's my cortecta.
Yeah, so I think you're able to accomplish eating this thing, but you're
maybe some kind of like bee leprosy where like you're starting to turn almost like that papery kind of hive kind of texture.
Is
lepra bee? Is that what you're saying? Lepra bee?
Lepra bee. There we go. Yeah, you got lepra bee. Yeah.
Hey Martin, thanks a lot for your Wikipedia research. I really appreciate it.
I really appreciate
Me too. Oh shit.
Happy to help. Happy to help.
So I think even like as you're doing this, night has kind of fallen, and you're pulling this aside, and you've all decided to make camp for the evening. The constant humming around you, it's incessant, and at times it can kind of fade away or be ignored, but at other times the constant humming vibrational tone almost puts in your mind a lullaby, a tune, a harmony, something from your childhood, in fact. So the question I'm going to put to you is, what were the songs about that lulled you to sleep as children? The rocking of babies, the sweetness of honey, the warmth of the hearth? And how are those memories going to help you get to sleep here and now, far from home, sticky, uncomfortable, hot?
I feel like maybe if I've been in part of my order since I was like a kid, maybe there's some sort of like indoctrination kind of chant or sort of, kind of earworm song that they get into your head to sort of get you kind of all on the same side. Sort of that kind of conditioning that you never turn on your brothers and sisters. So I feel like maybe something like that they make you all sing before bed, or maybe the first thing in the morning. Just like as much as like the actual lyrics are really disturbing and messed up, but it's that ritual, that sort of like deep child thing. It's like when you go back to like a movie
Comforting.
or a TV show or something that like is like really problematic from your childhood or something that's really horrible, but like it's still from your childhood and you still have some level of a connection to it. So I feel like I'm sort of listening or sort of like kind of singing that quietly to myself to try and get myself to sleep.
I love that.
So Fionn is his background is lost child, and he used to take shelter under the local inn. So it was built on some slightly muddy ground or something, and there was at the back of it, it was propped up on stilts, and he used to grab some sort of twigs, leaves, some broken wooden boxes, and sleep under there. And the humming of the bees reminds him of the inn above. He can sort of vaguely hear, the murmuring of people. That just that sort of continual hum that sort of comes and goes, and occasionally there might be a song from some minstrel or bard in the inn, and occasionally you get snatches of something which seems familiar. But the whole experience is sweaty, dirty, wet, and this kind of continual background hum and noise that sort of undulates and changes is very much his childhood.
That's terrific. Yeah, great.
Jeff grew up in a apartment on the top floor of St. Bob's Abbey. St. Bob's Abbey, of course, that famous hospice and hospital deathbed care facility. And as I'm drifting off to sleep, my belly full of delicious medium rare meat and honey, I'm reminded of the noise that would always permeate the place of people humming themselves to sleep as they slowly died in this place where people went to die, and the pain and the agony or out of their mind, whatever situation they happen to be, and the humming calls back to that constant background noise that was in St. Bob's Abbey. And it's very peaceful and comforting to Jeff, and I sleep like a baby.
Excellent. Those are all really good. That's good stuff, guys. I'll ask Jeff this as kind of the tracker guide of the group. What is the name of the constellation that has guided you here and will show you the way home when you hopefully return home?
I follow the great constellation, the sky of the double bear, Ursa.
Excellent. Excellent. Before you all drift off to sleep, some of you with bellies filled with leprous armadillo meat.
Everyone had some, right? Fionn, did you try this? This is Orlin, you've got to try this. It's delicious. It's hot, juicy.
I'm doing keto. I'm sorry. I don't think the honey will will work for me. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I slathered the entire rhino dillo in honey before I asked. I
Yeah.
should have done that. But Theon, I mean, here,
Yeah.
let me cut you off a slice here.
No,
I've got
no.
juice running down my face. I'm just eating, and it's. Are you sure? Are you sure? There's plenty.
Yeah. No, it's too sweet for me.
Ah, you don't know what you're missing. As my nose falls off.
I'm kind of picturing that scene from what is it, Lord of the Rings, where the Steward of Gondor is
Yeah.
like, is he eating?
Yeah,
It's like,
it's not
oh
a
my God.
tomato.
Yeah.
It's a rhino dillo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Piece.
Just squirting everywhere.
Oh my God. As you all are about to drift off, gazing up at the night canopy above you and the constellation of the bear. Suddenly
Ursa, the great honey bear.
The great honey bear. You see Ursa. Suddenly, the stars representing it begin to move about, and you realize it's a swarm of fireflies, and they drift away, and there's a black void left in its space.
Oh, fuck.
Give me a ruin roll.
I got
Is
2.
that-
I'm okay.
Nice.
I
Okay.
got a 1.
Jeff got 1.
Nice.
He's okay too.
Nice.
I got a
nice.
5. That goes up.
Finally past 3,
Oh
Martin.
my goodness. Cool. That is going to end ring 3 for us.
Perfect.
And I think we'll take a little break
That's a good
here.
place to take a break.
I'll think of a condition for Martin. You can think on it too, guys. If anybody else has any thoughts on it, that's cool. I did not think about a condition at all. So yeah, let's see. Let's see what Theon is going to get into. This is what I like as a possibility. The constant background hum makes parsing human speech impossible.
Ooh.
Ah.
That's kind of an interesting one. This is one I like. This could also possibly maybe be one for Jeff upcoming. Your saliva is sweet, nutritious, and if applied to your companion's food, keeps them healthy. Actually, that's a pretty good one to kind of play into Jeff's kind of current situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think that could be a good one for Theon. Martin, what do you think?
Ooh, excuse me, so I'm just dying slowly. Yeah, no, I think that'll be good. I think he. Yeah, I think that'll play it nicely.
You got any ideas, Martin? You look like you might have one.
Yeah, just how he's going to use it, but I think that'll be funny.
As somebody with light tinnitus, I will tell you right now, that sounds like fucking hell, Martin. Thankfully, my tinnitus cuts as soon as there's any sound above what the level is, so I'm okay. But
Okay.
yeah, but oh my god, if I couldn't parse speech because of it, that would be the worst.
Yeah, that's got to be wild.
Yeah.
All right. So on to ring 4.
Ooh,
Again,
that was quick.
Yeah.
There are 5 rings, and usually the last 2 can go pretty quickly. So yeah, we'll see what happens here. I guess like now that we're this far along, I did kind of want to bring up an additional role that we have yet to use. So that's the contest role. And pretty much every game I've run has ended in a series of contest roles. Basically, it's exactly what it sounds like. 2 of you are trying to accomplish opposing goals of some sort, and you collect a ton of dice together, and basically it's you get like 1 dice if you have a skill in it, and you get a die for every ruin you have, and then you take 1 dark die and as many other dark die as you would like.
Yeah. So you can do like 20 dark dice. You can just Nova your character.
Which is so awesome. And for any ones you get on the dark die that you roll, your ruin increases.
Yeah.
So you can win a contest roll and also kind of become lost. So yeah, it's a really cool mechanic, and you just get to roll a fistful of die. Who doesn't love that?
In my last Trophy Dark game I ran, one of the players succeeded against the other player because they rolled like 15 dice, but it didn't take them past their ruin. So they rolled that many dice and just like it should not have been
Yep.
allowed to happen, but they survived somehow. I was like, "Are you kidding me? You're both
Yep.
supposed to die here. How'd you survive?"
In the last game I had, one person didn't roll any extra dark die, and the other person rolled like 15, and they ruined out that person that rolled the 15, and the other person actually rolled higher anyway. They got like 2 6s. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah. It was awesome. On to ring 4. So the following morning, you wake up still following the trail of moose tracks, and you wake to the sound of this rising hum. And you see this trail of bees kind of exiting the forest, coming from what you presume to be the sixth form heart. You begin to navigate in the opposite direction of this trail as you follow the moose tracks back to their source. You see a tree ahead of you. Its profile is kind of warped by the presence of these hexagonal shaped wax tilings. It's not a hive, but it's more of like a standalone structure that's kind of stretching between several trees. And where the trunk reaches the ground, you see a miserable human figure clinging to life. They're embedded in this waxy substance. And you see the hat and web of a beekeeper encased in this wax. It's another treasure hunter. As you approach, he says, water, please.
Oh, Jesus.
Water.
Did you choose Magic Spit?
No, I went for the constant hum one.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay, cool.
Got it. Sorry.
Sorry, yeah.
Because I was going to say go spit in that guy's mouth if you had taken the saliva one, but maybe I'll say it anyway because Jeff is turning into a freak. But
yeah.
No.
Well, it's funny because all Theon hears when this guy's asking for water, of course, is buzzing. So Theon is just going to point at the guy, and he's turning into a bee. We must put it out of its misery.
I'll do it.
Well, wait. We can't. If we turn everyone who's turning into a bee out of their misery, and I'm just going to stare at Orlin, then we're going to run out of friends.
That's a fair point.
Theon just stares at Jeff.
I'm pointing at Orlin.
Stares at Jeff. All he can hear is buzzing. Jeff's turning as well. only he is left.
I'll tip some of this honey that's in my flask into this thirsty guy's mouth.
And as you've approached, you see, you hear humming emanating from this dying man's chest. The bees have converted it into a nursery chamber, and you see them kind of flying in and out of his chest. And it looks very similar to what's happening with Orlin.
Should we make a root roll for this?
When I see that, I stop, and I
feel at very least Orlin
back.
Definitely should. Like,
and
no.
I will also make a ruin roll, but I will not feed him any of the honey from my flask because I'm not getting close to that.
Yeah.
You see his shirt front is tacky and sticky with honey.
Yeah.
Beneath the cloth, you can see the man's ribs shelter a comb of golden hexagons where tiny writhing grubs feed on the honey and meat.
Nice.
We all failed.
Oh!
I got a 6,
shit!
Jeff got a 6, and Theon got a 5.
Oh,
hang on. Theon got a 2.
Oh, sorry, never mind. Theon got, sorry, I saw your last one. Theon got a 2. Theon's okay, but
Theon's good. Okay, geez. So where's that putting you guys?
Orlin and Jeff are back up
both
at
at 5. Both at 5. Okay, that unlocks the ability to make reduction rolls for you, Jeff.
Do we
So,
gain a
yeah, I
condition
think
for this?
Yeah, do you want to gain a condition? Do you want to advance your current condition?
I want to advance my leprosy in some way.
Okay.
I feel like we should also call it. We could also call it your Jeffressy.
Jefferson. That's all right.
Okay, I want
That's
to
all
add a
right.
third condition called Jefferson.
That's
Some call it
pretty
Jeffressy, some
good.
call it Lip. I like my transformation into like a bee man, so I feel like maybe I feel like just behind my eyes or like in rattling my skull what feels like the beginning of like a beehive, where I can feel like buzzing on the inside, sort of bouncing around. Like I can feel like pressure pushing up against the back of my eye. Every once in a while, like little tiny insect feet going on around like near my sort of like the what's it called, like the cord that attaches my eye to my brain, and it's just sort of almost like the beginning of my head turning into a beehive.
And maybe a single bee kind of crawls out of your nose.
Yeah, out
and
of my
flies
nose
away.
or like out of the corner of my eye. Maybe actually, yeah, I think that just like coming out of like the different orifices in my head, and sort of just crawling around. Maybe the halo's making itself.
Yeah, they're kind of coming in and out
Yeah.
now. Yes, yeah. Oh, yeah, I like that. Very cool. And
My
how
kid's
is
been playing
the?
Last of Us, and all I can think of, Wasabi, is some of the Last of Us fungus creatures and
Yes.
how
Yeah.
that's what I'm seeing in my head right now.
Yeah, I feel like I can't talk without bees coming out of my mouth.
I like that. Yeah, that's really good imagery for sure. How is the Jeffersy progressing?
I've lost, I would say, at least half of the flesh on my face, which has just sloughed off. And I think when I saw the creature, the chest, and I stepped back and I slapped my hand to my face in Kevin McAllister surprise, except unlike Kevin McAllister, when I took my hand off, my cheek just came with it. Now you can see my teeth inside, and I shook my head in disbelief, and chunks of my skull or chunks of my flesh sort of fell off at that. And so now I'm turning into a skeletal half Jeffressy leprosy person.
And I feel like where the skin has come away, that it's like this mixture of that papery material and your flesh and blood and muscle, in this really kind of creepy, weird mixture.
Absolutely.
I
I'll
love
turn
it.
towards Fion. We're doing fine, Fion. Don't worry. Bzz, bzz, bzz.
Theon still looks shocked and takes a step backwards, and for no apparent reason, maybe he lights the torch that he's been carrying in the back of his belt, since his bag turned to ashes mysteriously.
I feel
Some of
Yeah,
the smoke comes up into my face, and I blow it away.
with that
and
sort
I
of
step back.
upsetting my like the bees in my head. Can I try to make a reduction roll? But like, I'm not even gonna try and like hide. I'm gonna try and grab the lamp out of your hand and be like, you're angering my bees." I'm gonna try and like smash it against the ground.
Okay.
I guess I'll make the roll. I'm just thinking like I'm cool just taking making it clear.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Yeah, I wouldn't even say like you'd need to roll for that. I would say you can reduce your, because you're doing it
Yeah.
out in the open.
Yeah.
So I'd say you can reduce your ruin for that. I would think though that maybe
Contest roll.
maybe a contest roll. Fion, I don't know. What is it? How does Fion react?
Well, Theon is absolutely paranoid that the world around him is just turning to bees. I mean, we've got the bee thing in the trees. Jeff is definitely, starting to sound like a bee. He's just talking and buzzing. Orlan is clearly turning into one of whatever that thing is in the trees. So, again, seeing Orlan step towards him, even whether or not he's aware he's going to go for his torch, he's just going to take a step back and steady himself, almost using the torch as a threatening club or a weapon that happens to be on fire.
Okay, so let's establish, I think, what each of your goals here is going to be.
Yeah, so my goal is to
Orlan.
wrench the lamp or torch out of your hand and basically just destroy it beyond use, so like the smoke can't be used to remove bees anymore.
Okay, and is Fion going to react violently to this, or is he just trying to keep away from Orlan?
I think right now he's going to keep away. He's not aware of what Orlin is doing, so yeah, keep
Okay.
away. But that could change really quickly.
Yeah, I'm just yelling and spewing like bees into your mouth while
Yeah.
I'm trying to like grab it out of your hand.
I love it.
Fian, would you be interested in a devil's bargain?
Well, there's no devil's bargain for
In a contested
contest
role?
rolls. I
Ooh.
don't think so.
I don't
Not that
think
there,
so.
not that there couldn't be.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a
Well,
shame.
I guess both people, because people are
I-
gaining dice. I guess
I will say
Huh?
that I am totally okay with this, with him getting
Yeah,
advantage.
I mean-
but I'll let you. Yeah.
Well, I think with a devil's bargain, I think you'd probably both maybe take a dice. You know, it's something that's going to happen either way.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you were going to say, though.
But if there's no mechanical advantage, why would I be creative? That's how I live my life, Dan.
That's rule number 2 for Nate.
It does say for a risk. It does say those bargains are for risk rolls, but it's up to you.
Yeah.
Dan.
What I was
Say
going
that
to
again.
say is no matter what, Theon, when you take your step back, it's a little bit too much of a step and you fall right into the grasp of our honeycomb man.
Ooh.
Our little mellified man.
I think we're going to wait on that. I think we're going to just do the contest roll. Although, yeah. Just because, I don't know, it puts Theon in a little bit of a weird spot.
Mhm.
You know, just to be as, I guess, fair as possible.
Yep.
So
That's totally fair.
I mean, I had one for Orlin too.
Oh shit, that's funny. So the way contest rolls work, if you have a skill that is relevant to this, just like a risk roll, you can add 1 light die, and then you also add a light die for each one of your ruin. Now, do either of you have a skill relevant to this?
Would passion work for this? If not, I have tactics. Yeah. But I feel like passion's pretty
Sure.
much like I'm like
I like
the bees
passion,
are telling me
yeah.
to get rid of your smoke.
Yeah, I like passion, sure.
So I'm going to say that Theon is going to try trickery here, and the nature of his trickery is that he's going to pretend to move in one direction and then actually move in another so as to put him off balance.
I like it. Yeah, that works great. Works great. And then 1 for each of your ruin.
So 5
You'll
light die each.
5 total each. Yep.
That's the wrong one.
4 from the ruin for both of us, and 1 for both our skills.
Yep.
And then obviously we're taking a dark die as well because this is dangerous.
1 dark die always. Yeah, 1 dark die. As many other dark die as you'd like, keeping in mind that any 1s on a dark die increase your ruin. Now, don't say how many you're going to add.
Mhm.
We'll kind of do a little countdown once you're both ready.
So I've got a quick question about the rules first. So let's say I pick a number of dark die and I got a number of 1s. Does each one add to the ruin, or is it just an
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh shit!
everyone's
right.
a ruin.
Yeah, okay.
So you both our characters, if we did a bunch of dark dies here, we could both die if we get a bunch of 1s. Yeah.
And as far as like, we're not super far from the end, but we got a little bit left. If you were to like lose one of your characters, it may not be an immediate thing. It could be something I kind of, let you figure out how it's going to happen, sort of a thing. Also, like once you're lost, you're basically like jumping in as like co-GM.
Yeah, it could become part of a monster kind of thing, or it could just be
you could become a monster. Yeah, it could go in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm ready.
okay, 3, 2, 1, roll.
Oh boy. So is it
Okay?
I guess
Looks like Alex won. Nobody got any additional ruin. Why don't you describe to me, Alex, what you do here?
Yeah,
what
so
Orlin does.
I feel like Orlin goes over and grabs the torch, and like I'm trying to get it out of your hands, and I see the mellified man sort of dripping in honey, and I just sort of grab it and wrench it and shove it into his chest cavity, just putting out, and then like just like sort of snapping it off and just shattering what is left of the torch.
What have you done? What have you done?
And I just like open my mouth, try to talk. Bees are just coming out. They're all like agitated and angry and flying around my head.
As Orlin pierces the man's chest with the end of the torch, an explosion of bees erupts and begins buzzing all around the 3 of you. And as you are kind of attempting to keep them at bay, you see that a pack of large hound-sized bees has been drawn over here, and they begin to chase you all deeper into the woods.
Oh dear.
The bees now realize that there are intruders here. The stench of your sweat kind of pouring off you has kind of marked you as outsiders. You know, the bees use pheromones scents to communicate and kind of tell one another apart. You've run far enough now that you've kind of lost the pack of pursuing large bees, but you realize that you're kind of marked now here in the Humming Woods.
Am I still tracking or leading this charge, or are we all sort of going off in our own directions? What's
Up to you.
I'd probably be following you. I feel like once they're coming, I'm just running probably in the same direction. I might not be right next to you, but I'd say I'm still at least with you somewhat.
I'm gonna try and get us lost.
Ooh.
I'm gonna
Okay,
say I think.
a reduction roll.
I
like it.
What were you gonna say, Martin?
I was gonna say I think Fionn would probably be running with everybody purely because
Safety numbers.
Yeah, I mean he doesn't trust either of you, but hey, all the bees.
The bees.
Yeah, surprised. I really thought it was gonna be a lot more Nicolas Cage this session. we all held ourselves.
Where I think we should go, and I definitely don't go in that direction. So I'm gonna try a reduction roll.
Yeah.
To help us get
Now,
lost.
are you going to try to lead them off and then lose them? Is that kind of the idea? Or are you just leading everyone
eventually
yourself
for sure?
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know if I would try and do it immediately. I was thinking more I would try to get us lost, and then when we have to stop for the night,
that could be another reduction roll
that
as
would
well.
Be when
so
I would try
totally. Okay.
Let's see how this one goes. A 2, which is less than my current ruin. How do we know if my betrayal goes unnoticed? I mean, I feel like we're very distracted. We're running for our lives, so that's my idea of it.
Yeah, they follow you.
Yeah,
without
it's just true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They follow you.
Awesome. Then I'm at 4.
I think it's actually like a really easy thing to be like, oh yeah, like we're in a panic.
Yeah.
Plus,
we didn't
Jeff
run
is
into
so
more
trustworthy.
bees.
It's a stable influence on the entire party. Everyone trusts Jeff. Everyone loves Jeff. Jeff's so great.
You all kind of come to the realization that perhaps you should try to cover up your scent in some way. You've passed several different hives. You've actually passed the remains of several deer that kind of wandered too close to some hives and have been stung to death, and their rotting corpses have kind of been left behind, mostly intact. Maybe the smell of offal and deer blood could cover you up. The hive is so close now. There's this thrumming that reverberates in your chest, this constant hum that just kind of almost permeates you. How do you, or do you at all try to disguise your scent?
So I think Fionn would, if these deer are not sort of halfway turning into some sort of beehive, Fionn will cut the antlers off the deer and see if he can sort of make some sort of, I don't know, stick it under his shoulders or something and make it look like he's almost some sort of weird man deer type thing. And I like the awful suggestion, so I think he's going to crack out a liver, slice it up a bit, and smear deer blood all over him, and he's going to be very livery.
Excellent. You smear this foul, rotting deer liver all over your face.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and sort of like almost hum with like the thrum that we're hearing, and try and get the bees that are a part of me to try and join in with me in the same sort of thrumming, almost as a way to like sort of disguise if they're using like any sort of like a natural radar or anything to sort of find out like discrepancies. Try and just sort of almost like disguise myself in plain sight by making my bees inside sort of thrum to the beat that like everything else is thrumming in the forest.
I love that. That's great.
I'm going to take one of these handy half honeycomb corpses that we are finding. I'm going to take my tunic. I'm just going to just completely soak it in this material, in this blood honey goo, and put it on and wrap it tight. And then I'm going to fill my flask up and I'm going to pour it over me, and I'm going to put my hood up and make sure my hood is completely soaked. And as a convenient byproduct, I can just grab the side of my hood and put it in my mouth and suck the delicious sweet sugar off like a toddler. And the noise of that sucking, maybe the only noise Fion can now hear from me that is not a humming, buzzing noise.
That's funny.
Gross. That's great. That's great.
Johan gives you a look of disapproval. Bloody children.
One of my eyes is collapsed, so I try to see what that look is, but it's hard. It's a little fuzzy.
You've now, without your knowledge, kind of run completely off course in your panic to escape these bees, and you've lost the trail of moose tracks. And there's bees around, but the large trail of bees is no longer kind of in sight here. It's been a long day, and it's beginning to get dark. Overhead, a large swarm of bees kind of almost blots out the sun for several moments. You presume they're heading back to their homes and hives. And that's going to put us into Ring 5.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we're right there now, guys.
I don't think I've ever hit Ring 5 in a Trophy Dark game.
Really?
Nope.
I'm moving it along pretty quickly.
No, I think the pacing's been fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I've been loving this.
You make camp for the evening. You had mentioned, Nate, that Jeff might try to sneak off. I think now would probably be that time, if you'd like to do that.
Yeah, I will wait for an opportune moment when I think everyone is sort of settled down, sleeping, and I will try and regain, using tracking, I'll try and regain the trail. But first, I'm going to sneak away from camp far enough that I can't see them, so they probably can't see me. Bug bladder beast logic, which is also taught in Leech School.
Leech Community College.
Leech Community College. Hey, it's just as good. I still have the same diploma that
affordable.
Someone that went to Leech University for a tenth of the cost. I knew you'd have my back on this, Alex.
Oh, looks like your betrayal has gone unnoticed.
Ooh. Nice.
You managed to sneak away in the night. And yeah, you had talked about trying to re-find the trail.
Yeah, I got to find this royal jelly. Does that also decrease my ruin again?
What's
is this
that?
also a betrayal? By sneaking away from them, is that a reduction or no?
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was a reduction. Yeah,
you were our tracker, now you left us.
Yeah, I'm going to get back down to 1. Or no, 2.
Yeah. And I would even say that, yeah, your skills as a tracker, you're able to find the trail again. You know kind of the direction you ran in. You were the one leading them astray. So you can find your way back there. I don't think this is a risk roll here. And Orlin and Fion, you wake the next morning to find that Jeff is gone.
Yeah, I'll sort of try talking to Fion. I feel like Fion, you don't like really respond to all like the humming.
No.
So just sort of like
Give
you a
just
kick.
give you a dirty duck.
I sort of put my hands up like, and just mouth Jeff.
Interesting. Maybe there is somebody still there. Give me a minute. And Fionn, what does he do for this? I think that Fionn is going to, out of his pocket, because his bag's gone and his pocket's all that's left, he's going to pull out a petrified butterfly and an attempt to use his lyre ritual.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yes.
And
Love it.
he's gonna look at this thing and draw it up to his face and put it to his ear. Fortunately, it doesn't speak to him in sort of English, so it's not buzzing. I hope. And,
This is going to be a risk roll.
yes.
So you have the rituals skill, so you'll get a light die for that for sure, which is really
Yep.
two of you got it. It's a great skill to have.
Yeah.
And it's inherently dangerous, so there'll be a dark die involved.
Good.
Now, do you know if this spirit lies to you or not?
No, so this is a fairly new thing for him, and I don't know. He doesn't mistrust the results. He just thinks he needs more practice in order to get this kind of connection with the spirit world sort of more finely tuned. But I think he genuinely believes that the information he's given is right, but perhaps he's not interpreting it correctly. So yeah, he's no idea it's rubbish. None at all. So he's going to ask the spirit of the forest where he can find Jeff.
Okay. What could go wrong here, fellas? I think this spirit may be more malevolent than just speaking falsely. There could be some sort of physical attack that happens.
I suppose they could lead us to somewhere which isn't where Jeff is, but somewhere which is perhaps more deadly.
It could lie and tell you Jeff is dead and nowhere to be found.
What about a devil's bargain where it won't tell us where Jeff is, but it'll lead us right to a monster that's tracking Jeff?
Oh, I like that.
Nice.
I like that. Up to you whether you want to take that or not, Martin. It would give you one light die.
Yeah, let's go with that. That sounds like fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, there'll be 2 light die, 1 dark die to make the spirit appear, and no matter what, it's gonna lead you to a monster tracking Jeff.
Yeah, so that's a 4 on the light die and a 3 on the other one and a 3 on the dark die.
Okay, excellent.
If you want higher, we can try and go for higher. But you get an extra dark die. I could try and help.
Yeah.
It's part success though, so I mean it's not like the worst.
2 light die, 2 dark, and you would roll if you were helping. You would roll a light die.
I also have a rituals thing, so I could help by like maybe adding to doing some sort of like ritual around you while you're trying to talk to it. Maybe trying to keep the spirit like calm and like not getting too out of control.
Yes.
Hell yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, let's do it. Ooh. So there's a 6 on the dark die.
Okay, so as I play it, like a 6 is a 6. You do succeed on that, but your ruin will go up by 1.
Yeah, that's now 5.
Yeah,
it's now 5.
So now you've unlocked the betrayals.
Reduction betrayal roll. It should just be called betrayal roll, really. Okay, cool. So why don't you describe to me how this manifests? What do you see? How do you envision this spirit appearing to you? And what do you ask it? And I'll
so spirit of the forest, I think this thing has got to be, ironically, a deer, I think. So this deer appears, and poor old Fionn's got the pair of antlers sticking out of his shoulder and covered in deer liver. So this thing probably doesn't look too impressed. I'm going to say this thing is some sort of deer humanoid, so some sort of deer man type thing, and probably gives him a look of disapproval. Fionn is going to ask, in really flowery language because, I mean, it's a spirit of the forest. He's new at this sort of thing, and at the end of the day, he's a charlatan. He's a showman, so he's going to sort of wave his hands around and say, "Oh, spirit of the forest, we are looking for our friend Jeff. He is a poor soul who has become lost amongst the forest, and we throw ourselves on your mercy and ask for your generosity to find Jeff before he does himself an injury."
The deer man, god spirit of the forest, looks down upon Fion and it reaches out its hand and touches your shoulder and kind of gazes off and raises its arm out and kind of points into the forest.
I thank you for your wisdom, and we must be off. We must be off. Orlin, Orlin, and he points in the direction that the deer spirit pointed in.
And
Let's
this
go.
deer creature kind of it becomes almost like foliage and vines and kind of turns into almost like a tree and kind of gets sucked back into the earth and kind of disappears, almost like a swamp thing-esque kind of manifestation.
And you notice that Fionn looks incredibly impressed with himself for having pulled this off, and you swear that he's standing almost a foot taller than he was before. He's striding confidently in the direction of where this dear man pointed, believing him to actually perhaps be getting slightly better than being a crappy magician.
And you all kind of trek off into the forest here. And
I love that if Martin isn't playing a wizard, he's playing a hopeful wizard.
I love it.
Some way it has to be wizard adjacent.
Or he's playing like the
It's
grossest
so
wizard you've
great.
ever seen. It's just the slimy boy who smells.
Oh shit! In the night, Jeff, you snuck off, and you were able to reacquire the trail of the moose. And daylight has kind of dawned now for you, and you begin to move deeper into the heart of the humming woods, and you get the sense that something is watching you. Something is tracking you.
Who tracks the tracker? I want to climb a tree.
You want to climb a tree? Okay.
And make a little tree nest. And then become silent as death. Wait to see what it is that's tracking me.
I think you can do this as a tracker. You can climb a tree and make a little hide for yourself. Before too long, you hear crunching kind of through the underbrush. And what emerges from the trees below you is the biggest bear you've ever seen. It has like a black, brown fur that's kind of shot through with gray and white. It's some sort of elder bear. And it stops in the clear area below the tree that you're hiding in. How do you keep it from discovering you?
First, I hold my breath. Then, I carefully reach back into the pack that Orlin did not disintegrate. First, I check to see if I still have a pack. Did Orlin disintegrate this? The key. Nope. Oh, good. I still have it. I reach in. And I take the vial of collected honey. I unstopper it. And I throw it as far as I can off in a direction, hoping that it will make a noise. It will break. The smell of the contents will lead this bear away from me. And I will throw it in the reverse direction that I am going.
Perfect.
I don't want to throw it in my own path. That would be a.
No, you're throwing
That
in
would
the
be
way
a Jeff.
that we're coming.
Oh, I have no idea about that. No, I'm just throwing it in the obvious logical direction.
Coincidence, yeah. It's really the logical choice, of course. If you didn't say it, I was gonna make.
No, yeah, no, I love it. It's so perfect. It's so perfect.
Nice.
Now the question: what do you guys? Do you think this should be a risk roll? This could be a risky thing, right? The bear could kind of, totally.
Could notice him throwing it.
Yeah, I could notice you throwing it. Obviously, bears they're adept tree climbers.
I suppose the obvious one is that somebody loses their balance while trying to lob this as far as possible and falls out of the tree.
Yeah. I honestly, I think we're at a point where things going wrong are going to be the end of a character. Does that make sense to you guys at this point? So yeah, I think what could go wrong, whether it's however it might happen, falling out of the tree or getting caught in the tree, the bear will make a meal of Jeff, the leech.
But then the bear is going to get Jeffressy, and that's cruelty to animals, and that's a line that I am creating right now to try and avoid.
Quick, Martin,
right,
Google
so
how
is
bears can't get leprosy in their
Yeah.
Luckily, this bear is immune to leprosy.
Yeah.
Especially.
Might I use my deduction or tracking as a light roll?
Sure. Yeah, I'll give you.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to be stingy with the light die, I don't think here.
I feel like this is definitely a dark, and I'm wide open to devil's bargains.
You are able to throw it, but you notice the most gorgeous, most sugary honeycomb on this tree. Just a big hive that's going to cost you time of you sort of getting away. You have a head start on us, but this, you just can't help it. You're licking your lips just looking at it.
So no matter what, if I throw it and survive, no matter what, I'm going to stick around in this tree until Theon and Orlin
until they catch
show
up.
Maybe, or maybe who knows? Maybe something else could happen, but
or something
that's
else.
possible.
Okay.
But yeah,
not just mine. I don't know if Martin or Dan have any.
That I was gonna say, no matter what, you guys catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No matter what, you guys catch up. I love it. I will take that. And so that adds another dark, or that adds another light?
Another light. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So I've got 2 light and 1 dark.
Oh, hang on a minute.
All right.
There's another bargain here. You succeed, but your Jeffressy takes over, and you lose not only the vial, but the arm that throws it at the same time comes off at the shoulder.
Yes.
This is ridiculous to think that I would lose an arm in a role-playing game.
Yeah, of course, that would never happen.
No matter what, the bear leaves me alone, and I am one-armed afterward. I want to take that one.
You gotta.
That's
have to.
Definitely the one.
Well, I will say no matter what, the bear leaves you alone. If you fail, the bear is still gonna come at you. But no matter what, you lose your arm.
Yeah.
No matter what, I'm gonna lose my arm.
Yes.
I love it.
That is very worth a light die, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, it's much
For people
better.
not aware, I've chopped off Nate's arm in games in the past. He's not let me.
Every game we've played, I've lost an arm, and I blame you, regardless of what happened.
I know. I should have made it happen in the Doom of the Savage Kings game. Should have really gone for it then.
All right, let's see. 2 light, 1 dark. Let's see what happens.
Let's see.
Got a 3, and a 2.
Oh no, that's
not
a
great.
failure. Do you want to add a dark die and re-roll?
Heck
that?
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Let's do it.
2 light, 2 dark. Roll.
Let's go.
A 3, a 6, and a
6
3.
in the dark.
The 6 is the dark.
This is a success. Yep, this is a success, but your rune's gonna go up again.
So my rune goes up to 4.
So yeah, why don't you describe Describe what happens here for us.
One-arm Jeff it. I'm a one-armed Jeff it. Band Jeff. One-armed band Jeff. One-armed Jeff band. Jeff it. I've got to keep this going.
There's something there.
I'm a one-armed band Jeff.
Yeah.
That's my new condition. I've got leprosy, Jeffrey, and one-armed band Jeff. And I crave sugar.
Five-fingered Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh, so I take the flask out and I'm holding it so tight. Nervous. I start to sweat. And the sweat sort of gets on the glass of the flask, and I try and wipe my hand on my cloak, and then I grip it again, but that cloak is, covered in this honey and this blood and this strange mixture. And I tense up and I flex my arm as much as Jeff is able to, and that flexing obviously loosens and ruins as I'm in the grip of Jeffrey. And as I pull back, and then I whip around, and I didn't see that branch that was in front of me, and my shoulder hits the branch, and it stops so suddenly, and the arm keeps going, and it's propelled with the weight of this flask at the end, and it just rips off like a piece of taffy. Little strings stretch out a little bit as it goes whirling over and over and hits the ground, who knows where. Back towards you two. And I look down and I open my mouth to scream, and then hold a hand over my mouth, but still the scream is sort of goes out the side because I'm missing cheek, and there's just air that comes out of my missing cheek. But
you hear the glass vial of honey shatter behind you, and the bear jerks its head around at the base of the tree you're in and kind of gallops back into the forest.
And I'm just whistling in shock and pain and horror at what just happened. But hey, Ursa Minor has left.
Hey, anything could happen. So, Fionn and Orland, as you follow in the direction that the spirit of the forest has directed you, you eventually find your way back to the trail. And as you begin to follow that, you hear up ahead of you, as you breach through a small copse of trees, you see a large bear. And before it is lying on the ground is a leprous arm that it's currently feasting on. And it looks up and sees you both there. How do you react?
I take my dagger and I crack Fionn on the side of the knee, and I start booking it.
Oh shit, here it comes. Okay, and I mean, I'm imagining a contest roll
it's a contest
here.
roll, yeah.
How's what's Fionn doing? He kind of, sees the violent urge flash in the eyes of Orland.
Yeah, so seeing Orland move to... he's really suspicious of Orland anyway. I mean, he's full of bees. There's bees around his head, and bees are starting to come out of his chest. All he can do is speak in bee. I mean, there's no trust there. That went a long time ago.
Saving.
Beyond saving. Very good.
Nailed it.
I think as soon as he sort of lunges towards him, Jeff is going to... just roll away on the floor. I think just avoid.
Okay. So yeah, let's do another contest roll. Now, are you aiming to are you aiming to kill Orland? Are you aiming to kill Fionn Orland, or are you trying to?
In a way, I'm sort of leaving him to get attacked by the bear so that I can escape. If he dies, he dies. But my main goal is I need to get to this thing and destroy the royal jelly before Jeff gets to it and takes it away. So my main goal is to crack him, make him drop. I just need to be faster than Fionn against the bear, right? So that's my main goal.
what I'm kind of envisioning the consequences here is that Alex, if Orland succeeds here, he'll be able to do that and get away, and the bear's going to come after.
Come for me, yeah. I'll leave myself fully open.
Yeah, either way, whoever kind of loses this is going to get attacked by the bear. But I will give you a chance to kind of react to the bear attacking you beyond that.
Okay.
So yeah, let's count up some dice here. Let's gather our dice up. If you have a skill relevant to this,
would tactics work for this? Because I'm trying to go for his knee just to make sure that he can at least, even if I don't get him to stop, I can probably slow him down with the pain.
I think tactics is a good catch-all for most acts of violence. I suppose.
Oh man, Martin's gonna have more light dice than me though if he can use one of his skills, because you have 5 ruin, I only have 4.
Oh, yes, we've got to add all the... I forgot about that. That's good. Yeah.
Does Fionn have a skill that is relevant here?
Can't sensibly stretch any of those.
I feel like trickery or hiding would work if you're trying to just get away from me. If you're faking me.
No,
up to you.
Hiding for sure. You were just going to crawl away.
Yeah, I'd be totally happy with that. It's 1 die at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, totally up to you. I know you're a true blood role player.
Indeed. So. No, I'm not gonna add another light die. No, not this time.
Good man. Now you'll each get a dark die, because this is obviously dangerous here. And yet again, as many other dark die as you would like.
Okay, so we're on the same for light dice
adding to your ruin. Yes. Yep, you'll both get 5.
All right, I'm good to go whenever.
Yep. Let's go for a countdown.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh God. Oh God.
Okay.
Look,
okay.
Guess who's lost?
So.
Well, technically, both of us.
Well, yes. So okay. So Fionn has won the contest. He got 2 6s. Now, how many ruin did you have? Did your character have, Alex?
I had 4, and I rolled 2 1s.
So you're lost.
I'm lost.
And Fionn is also lost.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking how that might play out as far as like winning the contest. I think Orland's going to get eaten by the bear kind of without a chance to react, kind of a thing. And I'll kind of let you maybe think on Fionn's fate for a moment or two. I'll kind of try to ruminate on that myself. But yeah, why don't you kind of describe, what you do, Orland, how you react, and we can kind of play that scene out.
Yeah, well, depending on what Martin wants to do with this, I feel like this is the kind of thing where, like, I have ruined it for both of us, where I'm not able to crack you, but I'm able to, like, maybe stumble after you. Like, I'm looking like a mad, like, fully gone insane, just trying to, like, at this point, just get you, and I'm just, like, maybe rolling around with you, like, you try and get away from me, but you're able to sort of, like, kick me back and stun me, and sort of shove me back towards where the bear is, and maybe, like, the way I'm moving sort of triggers that, like, predator instinct that, like, maybe he thinks I'm trying to run away from him or something like that, where like it gives you a bit of extra time where he absolutely just charges me first. And like I'm mostly like hive paper at this point with my whole head and everything else, so he might just like crumple me like a big fucking pack of paper just full of cardboard and bees and other things.
He goes at you like you were a beehive, and he just kind of sticks his snout directly into your chest and just begins kind of devouring you alive.
Pussy honey.
Yes, that delicious pussy honey. Wow, okay.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
I'm not. I'm never.
Shameless. I love it. Fionn, you're able to kind of escape this immediate fate, and I think we might even kind of jump to play out what Jeff kind of does, and we might catch up with you in an epilogue.
Yeah.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
And just to briefly touch on the epilogue thing, once we kind of wrap it up, we'll do an epilogue, and the epilogue, it's going to revolve around your character specifically, not involve the other characters, but it could be about people in your life, the people you left behind. How has their life changed? It could be how did society change 100 years down the line. It can really be anything, so it's kind of a blank canvas for you to take a look at. So back to Jeff in the tree. I would say Jeff might even hear this commotion kind of behind him in the forest.
I'm going to try and get out of a tree while this bear is distracted. And I mean, I've got one arm. I don't have a lot of time here. So I might fashion some sort of quick tourniquet with my blood and surgery skill to try and just prevent bleeding out immediately.
Yeah.
And now I have one possible chance, and that's to get to some of this famed royal jelly that cures all ailments, to see if it really does cure all ailments, because I've got a whole list of them at this point.
Big time. Oh shit. Yeah, excellent. And I don't even know that you're like bleeding out from that wound. I almost feel like it's oozing, it's this slow, like kind of honey pus stuff, and there's that papery substance there.
I gotta taste it. I taste it. Is it sugary?
You know it.
Oh boy. I am the source of my own supply at this point. It's the dream of all.
Talk about getting high on your own supply. Oh my god.
And I'm going to get out of this tree, and I'm going to follow these tracks as quickly as I can towards the Queen's Hive.
Run and stumble along a little bit deeper into the forest. Before long at all, you find yourself in front of the Sixth Form Heart, the high fortress of the Humming Woods. And you see that this comb structure engulfs the trees to their peak, forming an immense and irregular dome that's kind of surrounded by all sorts of activities. There's giant hound bees kind of crawling across it, and the smaller bees, and the fist-sized vibrating bees. In the face of the structure before you, there's a tall, deep gouge left by an immense forest creature. And you see, in fact, that the tracks of the moose lead directly to this rent in the side of the hive. The ragged opening yawns wide open before you, enough for you to squeeze through. Inside, you almost immediately find a wall of this waxy substance that kind of yields before your touch. And you're able to push your way through. And there's another layer and another. And as you are kind of crawling your way through, the wax begins to seal behind you slowly, not completely cutting off your exit. There's hive hounds running their antenna over you as you pass, and their mandibles click and clack. The heat kind of just clings to you here. You're covered in pollen and wax and honey. You see the light begin to vanish behind you, and you push yourself through a final wall, and a wider chamber opens up before you. And you see that kind of ahead of you, there's a pedestal, hexagonal shaped. I don't think I said
you
that.
You said it right.
And sitting atop this pedestal is a large queen bee. And the pedestal, as you approach, you realize it's a basin. That within the basin is this royal jelly waiting for you. What do you do? Do you take the jelly? Do you take the queen? And how will you get out?
I remember earlier offering up to the soldier. I'm not going to offer anything, but I'm going to get small on the ground again. Hands and knees, head down, harmless, worthless, unnoticed. In my head, I'm thinking, this works. If it doesn't, at least I don't see what comes after me. And I start to crawl slowly towards the nearest source of this jelly, trying to be silent, no jerky movements, but like a worm on the ground in the palace here. And my memory goes back to days in the court of the undead king, Dave, and how those that had been found guilty would sometimes approach the throne in the same way, crawling on hands and knees, crawling necessary because their feet had been taken, but the same thing to try and beg for further mercy. And that is in my head, thinking about that. That is what I'm trying to be, and that is the feeling that I'm trying to portray to anything that might perceive me in this. And I'm just going to give it a go because I've gotten this far. I'm only going towards my goal.
Excellent. And I think this will be like one final risk roll, one final roll for the whole thing.
Hell yeah.
Are you able to get this royal jelly and escape, or is this your end here? I think as far as what could go wrong, there's some obvious things as far as the bees. If anybody, has something specifically awful in mind, or I'd be welcome to hear that, or a devil's bargain. Also, I mean,
I feel like
no, it's gonna end, so no
Yeah.
matter what happens, if thing is, kind of moot. But
I feel like a fun devil's
Okay.
bargain would just be if you succeed this, whatever Martin has become, or whatever Fionn has become, or whatever Fionn is now, blocks your path out of here, or shows up
And
in
they're-
some way.
Okay, yeah, I would be down with that, and yeah, that could extend it to maybe one more roll.
I know
don't
he's
know.
lost, but he might be something else now.
Yeah, totally. That's a definite possibility. I would say even, yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm just throwing an idea, you guys, and you don't have to take it. I don't know if you have one, Martin.
I'm gonna have to go for something which is. I mean, this royal jelly stuff sounds rather sticky. So I think if if your limbs were loosely attached to your body, I think the act of maybe putting your arm down on this basin, maybe you drink it or something, and then you pick yourself back up, and your arm stays behind. But you do get the jelly.
I think that's a really good.
That's awesome.
What happens if you fail?
If you fail, yeah.
kind of a thing. Yeah.
straight.
You kind of your
Armless
face.
chef.
You stick. You lose another arm.
Yeah.
or your face. You stick
That's a pretty
your
good
face
fail
into
state.
it or something.
I like that as a fail
that's
state.
I do too.
I'm just
I almost think
torso.
the
Torso
idea
Jeff.
of Fionn or even Orland, kind of showing up in some form. I almost think that's kind of a fail state as well.
Yeah.
Do you have any skills that could help you out with this? No, nothing.
I don't think so. I have blood
Okay.
deduction, surgery, and tracking, and I think I'm going to pull a Martin on this one.
Sure.
I think I could weasel explanation to use one, just to use one, but I'm not really seeing it.
Well, as Blades in the Dark says, don't be a weasel.
I feel like it'd be a weasel, especially for this last.
You don't think surgery would work?
Yeah, that's
slice
fair.
through the. No, I think it's. I am going to take Orland's Devil's
Oh.
Bargain, just because I already took one.
Mm-hmm.
from Fionn, and I have an idea on how that would
How to
end this out.
how to play it out. Okay.
So that would be two dark, 0 light.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, one
Yeah.
life. If you take the devil's bargain.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. One light, one
Oh.
dark. One light, one dark. Yep.
1 light, 1 dark. All right. Here we go. Oh, a 5 and a 6. The 6 is
Oh,
on dark.
the
And where am I at? Oh,
Dang!
brings me to 5.
Brings you to 5. You're still good.
I'm still good.
Okay. So you're going to be able to get to the jelly.
I slowly move up and I have my wax covered sack and I somehow, with one hand, get royal jelly in there and somehow close it up. And my idea is, okay, I've already gotten in here in one way. I'm going to go right back out that same way. Even though it was
Mhm.
closing up, I'm not going to get lost. And where's Fionn going to be? Like, are
I
you
think he's gonna-
inside the hive? Are you outside or right in the same room? What's...
So Fionn is going to be outside of the hive. Remember that he's trying to get out, I think, but he's no idea which direction he's supposed to be going. So I think you're going to meet him outside.
So here's what I'm thinking. I don't really want to... In terms of an ending, I have a ritual. And the
Ah.
ritual I have is bind. And when I see what's left of Fionn, I think what I'd like to do is bind, which holds a creature in place for as long as I stay motionless.
Uh-huh. I'm loving this
And
idea.
the end is both of us, you motionless, the creature that Fionn is motionless, me unwilling to move, hoping against hope that something takes care of Fionn. But also, I'm right on the exit of this hive, and I'm probably... that's what
love
I
that.
see as the end.
I love that
You have, like,
personally.
crystallizing sugar or wax all over you. But might never be able to move again if you stay here too long.
Exactly.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Martin?
That's nice. I like it. I think, yeah, so Fionn is stuck with this being bound in this position, and he's just hoping that something comes along and eats Jeff before he dies, before he runs out of sustenance. Yeah, maybe that bear will come back.
There's a huge crash in the woods. Our eyes, the only thing that can move our eyes, look to the side, and then the screen goes dark.
That's great. That's really great. And as far as epilogues go, if Alex, if you had anything for Orlin,
I do. I don't know
obviously-
if you guys want to do your things first or if you want me to do mine.
up to you. I just kind of switched over so they might have a second to think.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah, no, I definitely have an idea for maybe a little bit further in the future where we sort of see what's left of my body. My sort of head and like spine and stuff is still there. The rest of my body's been ripped off by the bear and just sort of been detached. And this man walks up in this red and gold sort of nice filigree kind of jacket. He has like an easel in one hand and he has a bunch of like painting supplies just strapped around him in a little bag. And he sort of bends down. He says, finally, the one thing I needed left for my next painting, and sort of picks up my head, puts it into his bag, and walks off back the way he came.
I love that. That's great. Martin, Jeff, anything, or Nate, anything beyond?
Well, I think it depends if one of us gets free or not, or whether we get eaten by a bear or something else.
Here's what I'm going to say. We see the dungeon of the mad, evil, undead King Dave. And in the corner,
Okay.
there is a small sewer grate covered. And there's a squeaking noise, and slowly one of the screws is being unscrewed, and then it pops out. And there's another squeak, slowly. And this is just a pipe. It's maybe 2.5, 3 feet. And the grate comes out as a shadowy figure sort of pokes it with its head. And then this sinuous torso snake-like form slides out of the grate onto the ground. and it slowly tries to get itself up and stands up. No arms. It's just a thin torso with legs, and it heads towards the throne room, seeking redemption and revenge.
Nice.
I love it.
So how did that leave Fion?
Well, we'll assume that Fionn. I'm going to say they probably reached a bargain. They realised that they still had things they wanted to do and live for. So yeah, I think reluctantly, Fionn would have forgiven Jeff and let him squirm on his way. So I think later on there was maybe a couple of weeks later on there was a very strange site in the village that Fionn used to live in. And there was a scream one morning, and someone had walked into their house, and Mildred was found there with strangled to death, with multicolored handkerchiefs stuffed in her mouth, and this image of this strange cloaked man in well, maybe it was a man, maybe it was a deer with antlers sort of poking out, seen running away into the forest. And what had happened to poor old Fionn? Of course, he'd gone back to Mildred to apologise for not having got any of this jelly, and all he heard was Mildred buzzing at him. So of course he strangled her and made sure she would never buzz again by stuffing her mouth with handkerchiefs.
Oh my fucking god.
That's great.
That's amazing.
That's great. Oh man, yeah.
Wow.
Awesome.
That was fantastic, guys.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
Great stuff. Yeah, that was
Oh,
definitely a lot of
shit.
fun. You guys are definitely a great group for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dan. That was oh my god,
Oh,
Nate and Mara,
my-
that
my
was so much
pleasure.
fun,
My
guys. That was
pleasure.
crazy.
Thank you.
It was
Yeah,
cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, love this game. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for everybody watching.
Yeah.
This is just so much fun.
Trophy Dark is so much fun. It's so easy to get into. It's a perfect one-shot system. Just like, oh man, it's so
I
good.
couldn't recommend it more.
Yeah.
I really,
It's
if you're
so
into
fun.
horror at all, like, it's a blast.
Yeah. And
for
the
sure.
character keeper and the roller make it so easy to run online. So I'll put those like in the show notes. That very good, very easy to find. But yeah, no, thank you so much, guys. You were an amazing group. That was like probably one of the
really
best
fun.
sessions I've been a part of in a long time. That was very, very
Yeah,
fun.
me too.
That was
Me too. Yep.
fantastic.
Yeah, that's the first time
Very
I've
fun.
played that, and yeah, I'll definitely be playing it again.
Yeah, right. It's solid.
Yeah, it's one of those things too. Like, I'll run this anytime. It's literally like it's 10 minutes to read through an incursion, and then you're off.
The rest of it's improv, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, you guys put way more input in than I did. So I'm asking questions, and you are all kind of creating a lot of what's happening. So yeah, you guys are super creative. So yeah, that was really good. Really good. Really dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Martin's ending there.
Yeah, Martin. Thanks a lot, Martin.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. I'm gonna be freaking having nightmares tonight.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. That was fucking great.
Awesome.
I love I don't know, whatever, if you want to wrap this up.
No, go ahead.
I loved the Agino the painter, the debauched paintings. My buddy had that as well when we played this.
Oh, really?
And yes, and I think that's just, I don't know, I really like that.
Yeah.
That drive. He, his whole thing, it was something completely different, and like it kind of got fleshed out in like the final act, and it ended up being one of those things where it was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
His whole thing was like he had been forced to kill someone he cared for, and that was what one of these paintings was.
Wow, that's awesome.
He was looking for that painting. You know what? It was actually in the Flocculent Cathedral that he had that drive, but that was like he found this trove of that guy's paintings there. And kind of burned them all or whatever. Yeah,
and that's what I love about it. You can take the same thing over. Like we could play all these same characters again and play them completely differently with different things. It's nuts what you can do with this game. And yeah, no, it's very
flexible. Yeah,
super flexible. Yeah. Awesome.
Cool.
Well, yeah. Well, thank you everybody for watching, and thank you Nate, Martin, and Dan again for playing. You guys were a fucking awesome group, and I
My
hope we do this again
pleasure.
sometimes. I think this would be really fun to
Anytime,
watch.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be happy to run again or to play.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's
I'm gonna be
super
honest,
fun.
Dan, I think you're a much better Trophy Dark keeper than I am. I think you did an amazing job.
I did run this before, so that that really kind of helps for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, it's super. Yeah, I love it. Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Thank
No,
you.
this
Thank
was a blast. All right, well, goodbye,
yeah.
That
everybody.
was a lot of fun. Great stuff.
I'll,
Cheers, guys.
you. Peace.